Sean, I've been on your radar for a while now. You see what my dad did 25 years ago at UFC 24, March 10th, year 2000.
Lance Gibson Sr. at 3:37 of the third round.
I was born 10 minutes from this arena, and I was raised on the mats in Seattle, Washington. This city knows my name.
Fearless, 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 fearless Lance Gibson Jr.
I fought for the Pacific Northwest my entire career. Fight after fight, I've shown I'm fearless. I'm ferocious. I'm unstoppable. But most importantly, I'm one of a kind. I've dreamt my entire life of being able to fight in the UFC octagon. What better time than now?
Lance, what's up, dude?
Oh, nothing much. How are you doing?
God, I love it. I love the dream.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Hey,
Just
I appreciate you coming on with two strangers.
Oh yeah, no, no worries.
Someone's like, "What do you do for a living?" I meet strangers at 7 a.m. What do you do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Lance, this is Caleb over here. I'm Sevon. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
Every once in a while, I'll have UFC fighters on. I'm a huge UFC fan. We've been fortunate to have a ton of people from Alex Caceres, who's been around the UFC forever.
Oh yeah.
To one of your colleagues, Dalton Rasta. We've had Volk on, just a whole, the whole crew. We had Armin Tsarukyan on. Although the other day, it's funny, I ran into him in LA. I walked by, I'm like, Armin, what's up? And he looked at me and he's like, I'm like, you were on my podcast. He's like, that was Sunday morning. He was not happy.
Oh yeah.
On Sunday morning at the beach here. Yeah. Let's start hot right there. Let's start hot right there. I don't know what weight class you are, because after all the research I've done, anyone who does research on you might say you're 155, but there's obviously hints that you are now going to be a welterweight. But before I go there, do you have any thoughts on why he pulled out? Have you been following the drama around that? Dana says he's not going to get another title shot. They said his back was hurt. I saw him Sunday morning. He's walking along the strip here at Newport Beach. He looks huge. I almost didn't recognize him. He is like massive.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Did he not make weight? I mean, he looked like a 190-pound guy when I saw him.
Yeah. I mean, I think every fighter, every person's got their inklings, but like I know what it feels like having a pretty bad back injury. So, I mean, it sucks. And I've also been there where in the middle of my weight cut, my back just starts killing me, and it's almost like you can barely walk or run. But I don't know. I don't know if I can speak on it. It's, in my opinion, if it were me fighting, I especially for my chance at a world title, I couldn't step out. I'd have to freaking fight. So obviously I would have to make weight to do that, and that would have to be championship weight. And if it's a risk of missing championship weight, you don't even get you don't get the opportunity to win the title. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the scenario is. I've seen him outside of camp. He's pretty huge. Like he's a solid dude. So, and he's in good shape. It's just, I think maybe his weight was a little off. I don't know.
When you say championship weight, what does that mean? Do they not give a pound leeway for championship fights?
No. No, you have to be 155. Yeah. So, if he missed it by a pound or even an ounce, Islam would be fighting for the title, but he would not, and he would give up 20% of his purse. So it's a shitty scenario, but you got to do what you got to do. It's your job, So
David Weed, when you're cutting weight, just picking your nose can fuck your back up. It's really like that. Speaking of which. So, but Dana was acting weird. I don't know if you saw in the press conference afterwards, they said, hey, are you going to give him another shot? And he goes, no, we're going back to the drawing board with him, meaning it seems like he's going to have to fight. He's going to make him, fight another fight before he gets another shot at the belt.
Yeah. And that's kind of tough. The guy, I mean, realistically, the guy has earned his way there, but I think for the principle of like making it all the way to the day before, I think that's where it's like Dana he doesn't really play when it comes to that, It's like, I think if it was even like a 5-day heads up, I don't know. A back injury, you'll know that you cannot do it if you can't do it,
Right. If you're waking up in the morning and you're crawling and peeing in the bathtub because you can't stand, you're fucked.
Thank you. Exactly.
I mean, I've been there, not from fighting, but
yeah.
I wish it was from fighting. I wish it was probably.
Well, I've done it from weight training, just like deadlifting, and then not being like neurologically all the way there, probably from like not overtraining, but like did high intensity wrestling, everything, and then did just one extra rep that I probably shouldn't, that I wasn't set for mentally, and then back's done for like a couple months.
Yeah, which is crazy because you need that back in order to put food on your table and chase your dream.
Yeah, precisely. Exactly.
Hey, Lance, there's this thing that I don't think a lot of people know, and I know it intimately because I'm a world-class pussy, but I think there's these things that men have to be able to do in order to blossom into a man. And one of them is like maybe like have kids and have that relationship. Another one is to get some wisdom in life, like some godly wisdom. Like one day you realize, like I really need to love all of mankind. There's like these higher levels of, but on another one is to be able to fight. And I think that like one of the ultimate truths in life, and I think that there's only two kinds of people who realize this, and liars, that if you don't ever get to feel what it's like to fight, you missed a corner of expressing your manhood. Like if you're not able to like full throttle 100% stand toe to toe with another man and defend yourself or be on the offensive. You ever think about that? Do you have thoughts on that? Or is it, since it's been something you've been doing since you've been 2 years old and been around since the day you came out of your mom's womb? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because you're surrounded with 99% of the population doesn't realize that, and they're in denial. Like I think everyone from Stephen Hawking who's trapped in a wheelchair to Joe Biden to Trump to Rodney Dangerfield. So you pick someone. Yeah. Somewhere deep in their core, they wanted to be able to fight another man and never back down and never be afraid. That's in all of us. Like fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Someone bumps you, you want to be able to beat them up. You ever realize that like, hey, I just spent a week and I guess you're around those men all day in your training, but I mean, alone. You're a 0.1% in expressing that deep. And becoming a world-class pussy magnet, but that's a byproduct of it. Do you know what I mean? Like you're like, we've lost that, but you're still in that. It's not even primordial. Maybe it's primordial, but it's still something we all have wanted or want.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, I always think of like Native American warriors for me personally, because it was just bred in the deepest part of their being, that like warrior spirit. So like I basically never backing down from a fight, no matter how many freaking people were up against you. Like I think of like Crazy Horse, one of the Lakota basically warriors of all history, but he never backed down from anything. I mean, it's what battle was that? I can't remember the exact name of the battle, but Battle of Little Bighorn. But anyways, absolutely, that's been bred into me since I was a kid. My dad, he basically never backed down. So I'll actually kind of go through like a little bit of a story, because so my grandpa is Scottish. He was Scottish and Welsh on my dad's side. And in the 60s, he was like kind of the only white man in Toronto that married a black woman. And he was at this Michael Jackson concert, and this guy came up to him and called her the N-word. Like, what are you doing with her? Because it was back in like the 50s, 60s, like back in that time where that wasn't that cool. And he just grabbed his set of binoculars and beat the brakes off of the guy right away, on site.
Your grandpa did.
Yeah, on site. Like no questions asked, on site. And
what was the concert they were at? What was the music?
At a Michael Jackson concert.
Yeah, okay.
and my dad was like a kid, but he seen this happen from a distance, obviously, because he wasn't around it. But that instilled in him basically not to take shit from people in general in life. And seeing that man stand up for his woman, one, but also protect his family right there was he was a pillar, obviously, of our entire family. And me growing up seeing my dad the same exact way, and all my family in general, they don't freaking play. Like, I could even say on my mom's side, that's not on the martial arts side. Like, my entire family over there, all the women knew how to scrap too. So it was actually quite funny because my grandpa, on that side, and my uncle on that side, they were all having all the girls basically hitting the bag when they were kids in the gym, in the garage, and scrapping, boxing, doing it all. So I've been kind of around that since I was a kid, but as a man, absolutely, it's so important that you're not just sitting on your freaking TV playing video games all day or sitting on social media all day, but you need to know how to defend yourself, absolutely. If that scenario ever comes up. But yeah, I think that's absolutely important. Like, I have so many different memories from a kid. Like, when I was 5, I remember me and my dad were walking downtown Vancouver, in Canada, and he wasn't even homeless. I don't even know what he was. He was just super sketchy. He was on drugs, drugged up, whatever.
I assume everyone in Canada is on drugs, by the way. It sounds redundant. Go on.
Yeah. So my dad the guy goes like, "Oh, look up. What's that? What's that?" And my dad just boom, right, just clear knew that what he was up to, and yeah, it's kind of been a normal thing for me. So it's kind of just like, it's a part of me, Same thing when I step in the cage.
You just kind of brought this idea to my head. I'm guessing that really confident men in their physicality are also more emotionally available. Yeah. Because they have that confidence there. They don't have a problem sharing, their feelings, their emotions, they don't care if they cried. Like, because they're so stable there that they probably make better partners because of that stability they have. They can be vulnerable everywhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to be like.
And there's a lot of energy and emotion. My most emotional kid's my toughest kid. He's the best at jiu-jitsu and boxing and fight. Like, he's the most emotional, but man, nice. But he's there, present in the ring, and he uses it.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I was growing up. I mean, I'd be fighting my cousins and everything like that, but eventually
you cried a lot. You cried a lot as a kid. You cried in practice. Yeah. Cried when you were fighting. Cried like a lot of crying.
Because I was passionate. That's also what I like. When you lose passion in life, good luck. You have to have passion in whatever the hell you're doing. It doesn't really matter what it is, but there has to be passion there. If there's not passion, you're dead. It's dead. So I think I grew up with that. I've gone through phases. Obviously, life's full of ups and downs, but in my sport where I lost the passion, and that was from too heavy weight cutting and whatnot. But it's about just kind of having grace and being able to go with the flow and find your way back to that. And in there, you can take control of all your emotions and be centered in who you truly are. Yeah, so absolutely, I totally agree with you there on that.
I went to an Ice Cube concert when I was 22 years old. I went with this black girl, black as night. We got there early.
Yeah.
Small venue, only held like 800 people. Got there early, maybe not even that much, 500. Got there early. It was Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob. Got there early, went up to the front. No one else was in there, and it was a little different than your grandpa's situation. Four black
for
dudes
sure.
Yeah. They also called me the N-word, and then told me to go stand in the back, and they don't want to see me. They told me they better not see me hold hands with her, and they better not see me up in the front. And again, I did not fight them. I scurried to the back.
Yeah, well.
She still
you got to know it. Yeah.
But it made it hard to enjoy the concert. I was a little on edge.
For sure.
I was a little on edge. Okay. Your dad's was a fighter. UFC 24.
Yep.
Let's go back there. Why do you think he got into fighting? Did he have some sort of? Say it again.
He was always a fighter since he was since he was a kid. He was always the battle in I'll explain Vancouver, but the battle in Vancouver was basically like the Rockers versus everybody else. Like it was basically like where people wore these big Dayton boots. They're shit kickers, and that's what they're called. Dayton shit kickers.
Martin? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're steel toe. So the Rockers always wore these Dayton boots, and they would just like stomp people out. And the like street fights that would happen.
This is the Mohawk crew and the leather jackets.
Yeah, exactly. So he was not really into those guys, obviously, and he would always end up having to scrap all the time. So he grew up just fighting. He was a good wrestler in high school. Grew up fighting, and so he had me, and at the same time, my dad's an actor and a stuntman. So he was actually in Seattle at the time, and he met my mom in Seattle, but he was basically going by gym to gym, and he was trying to find a boxing gym. He ended up going to AMC Pancration, which is in Kirkland, Washington, and that's where Demetrius Johnson came from. That's where like tons of the original like UFC stars basically came from.
For people who don't know, Demetrius is maybe one of the greatest fighters who ever lived, and may still be. Like shit, we don't even know.
Yeah. So yeah, my dad started out there with Matt Hume, and basically he walked into the gym, and there was this big guy named Chemo. He was in the UFC at the time, and they needed a sparring partner for him. My dad had no training, and he was just like, "I'll go in, no problem." And he stepped in and went like 10 rounds with the guy. That was like a heavyweight. He was about 190 pounds maybe at the time. And from then on, he just was like all in on the sport. He's like, I could actually do this. Like if I'm hanging in here with a heavyweight that's in the UFC, I can do this. So he basically didn't, from then on, back in the day, there was no like weight classes. There was no like real like logic on like, hey, I'm 150 pounds or 180 pounds. I'm not going to fight a guy that's 280. He was fighting anybody and everybody that he could fight. So he was just down to scrap since day one. And I mean, one of the legends, Dan Severn, the guy's like, I don't know, he's 6'4", 240. My dad fought him for 27 minutes straight. You could watch that. I think that's on YouTube, but fought him for 27 minutes straight. He was 5'9", 200 pounds, maybe at his heaviest in that fight. And he was kicking him in the head. He eventually got caught in like a heel hook at the very end, but Dan Severn's a beast. Like, it was almost like watching like David and Goliath in a scenario, because he was so small compared to this dude that's massive and just a monster wrecking people. So
his dad has the same name, Caleb, Lance Gibson. Do you remember do you know how much you got paid for those? Like UFC 24? What the payment was? Was it like a box of crackers and a gift certificate to,
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble? I mean, like, what was it? What did they get paid anything then?
I think they got 5 and like 5 or something like that. Like $5,000 and $5,000. $5,000
That's
fight,
better than I
$5,000
thought.
win. Yeah, or something like that. It was. I'm not entirely sure, but it wasn't like crazy money. Obviously, by the time what was it? By the time Pride showed up, that's when like there was real money kind of coming around. But my dad didn't really make it to Pride. He didn't go to Pride. He went to Shudo, another organization in Japan. But yeah, he fought all over. So
I want to
good to have that foundation.
I want to give people a perspective. We'll just spitball an imaginary fighter. So you want to be an imaginary fighter, and you want to jump in your first amateur fight. How do you do that? You just go somewhere, you find a local like club in your area, like in the Pacific Northwest, and you're like, I want to fight. And can anyone just get a fight, their first amateur fight?
So like for us, the way my teams always worked, my dad has kind of like led our team was like, you got to show commitment first. You got to learn all the skills, because ultimately you're representing my name. So like,
okay,
because our name's Gibson MMA, he would not let just everybody's like, oh, I want to fight. They're like, okay, awesome. We'll see you tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then like, let's see some consistency. Let's see you actually improving on all your skills. You're going to be well-rounded before you just step in there. But that's our kind of like thought process. Some guys will just chuck you in there, which is, I believe in it too, because it's like, okay, you want to fight, you want to see what it's actually about. It's not that easy. It's not just something you could just like do. You got to learn the foundations and all the skills, your jiu-jitsu, everything. But yeah, so I think it's important for people to make sure that they find a good gym, but they actually like verse their skills, like be well versed in your skills before you just jump in there. But don't spend like 20 years trying to do that, obviously, because that's not realistic. Like you need to just be committed and dedicated to that.
Okay.
Whether you have it, yeah.
And then how much would you get paid for your first fight?
So for a first pro fight, you wouldn't get paid very much.
Or how about amateur? How about amateur? Do you even get paid anything for amateur?
No. So you're just doing that for fun.
You would fight for free.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring this up is a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't realize the tough road to hoe to become any professional sport. Like it probably sucks being in the minor leagues in baseball, right? Or the G League in basketball, or anything. Let's say you're track and field silver medalist. You ain't getting shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at Bolt, right? So basically, when you start fight, not you particularly, but just the generic fighter, he has to have a full-time job, work 8 hours a day. He has to also train before he goes to work for 2 hours, and then at night after work for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And it's 5 to 10 years of that with fighting for free.
Yeah.
Then you get your first pro fight, and it's still a local organization. And how much would you get paid then? Do you get $500 or
maybe $500, 500 and 500 maybe if you're lucky. Like it depends on how exciting you are, but or what promotion you're fighting for. But a local like regional promotion, generally not much. Maybe $1,000 total.
And then when you take the team out to dinner afterwards, you realize the fight cost you $200 because you spent all your money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, yeah, and then you got to pay for your medicals to go to the fight. You're paying for all your nutrition leading up to the fight. Hopefully you're eating pretty decent, like, and then all your training. It's like, yeah,
you're eating $50 of ribeye and another $20 in other shit a day. You're $120 a day on food, on good food.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you want high quality food, yeah, it's crazy.
And then when you turn pro and you're still you're still chasing the dream. It's still an application process, because the only two places that actually, and then even when you get picked up by Bellator or the UFC, the pay still, I mean, it isn't sustainable, right?
No, you'll need to have another job for sure, or have some type of investment that you can rely on. But you need to be like, because a camp costs a lot of money if you want good training.
And what's a camp? Tell me what a camp is.
So it all depends. It depends how much time you get notice for the fight. So say you get 10 weeks. You're obviously planning what days you're doing what. Obviously, you have your basic gym training. A lot of guys go separately to jiu-jitsu gyms as well, just to get rounds in with jiu-jitsu. Strength and conditioning, strictly conditioning. Like strength and conditioning, you're doing your, a lot of the stuff that we're doing now is kind of like more split stance. So like we're doing like more split squats, explosive training on any strength training that we're doing. And then the good old assault bike, the Airdyne, and but just doing clusters of rounds of those, and then doing your separate conditioning, which is just like distance running, keeping to where you can keep your heart rate nice and low. And then that's not including any of the extra stuff that you do on top of that. Now try to go have a day job at the same time. You know, it's like, it's a lot to try to commit to doing all that, but we make it happen.
So if you had a fight coach that was $500 a week, a conditioning coach that was $500 a week, and a strength coach that was $500 a week, because they got to make a living too, right? They're spending a lot of time making a plan. And then fuck it, let's go big. You're a superstar, and you have a nutritionist, and he's $500 a week. So then it's $2,000 a week for a 10-week camp, and you're $20,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
and that's still, you're paying for a chance to get in the ring, which is still an application to get a bigger fight that might actually pay someday.
Yeah, absolutely.
The funnel gets really small for who makes money.
Yeah, for sure. You have to set yourself apart, either in your skills, your promotion, and whatever else.
Do you do it for the money, or to beat people up, or to make your dad proud, or to stay in shape? Do you know why you fight?
I do it for really the love of it. Like, I've been doing it for so long. That's where it's kind of like I said, I kind of find there have been ups and downs, but at the base, at the foundation of everything, it's because I love to do the sport. I think the money kind of handles itself when it comes down to it. I've worked hard training other people and in lots of other ways to be able to support myself, and I have my family also that helps support the dream that I want to achieve. But you know, it's generally solely for me. It's not about 100% the money. I think the money will become a byproduct of the skills that I portray when I'm in there.
Julia Budd, Canadian mixed martial artist, kickboxer, competing in the featherweight division. She was the first Bellator women's featherweight world champion, and has also fought Strikeforce and Invicta Fighting Championships and the PFL. And that's someone you've trained. You've been with her whole career.
Yeah, so that's her and my dad got married probably in 2013. She's been with our gym for a really, really long time, like since I was a kid. Like I think I was 9 or so at the time.
Wow.
And she was just committed to kickboxing. Her story is pretty freaking crazy. Like, and just so you know, she's not done. Like, she's not done. A lot of people are like, "Oh, she hasn't fought in a long time. What's going on?" Well, she's going to be fighting this next year in that organization called the GFL. But
how old is she? 43?
I don't even know. Probably
41,
43 or something. Yeah, I think 43.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, and then a lot of people look at the age, obviously, in
right.
sport, because they're like, "Oh, well, once you get that age, you know, you're done." You know what? I think I call bullshit. Like for me personally, because I'm like, everybody wants to look at the young guys in the sport, wants to like have young stars because obviously it brings new energy. But I think it's the coolest thing is actually seeing the older fighters that can stick around and actually still compete, because it shows that there's a different level to them. Obviously, like you have to adapt your skills and you have to be able for you to still be there. That, I mean, you're obviously skilled in a different way, whether it is like you've changed the way you fight, or you have longevity in your career because you haven't taken too much damage throughout your career, or you really take care of yourself. So for her, like, I mean, I've seen her, like, there's pictures of her when she was a kid. She was freaking shredded. Like, she was she was ripped back then, and it's like she's just taking care of herself the entire time. So at the end of the day, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Nobody's going to put that limitation on you of age. So I think she's going to make another title run in that organization, the GFL. So,
and you've been around her, like you said, since 9, and so you've been around championship caliber, discipline, training, hard work, and you saw her bring her dream to kind of reality.
Yeah, it was crazy because, I mean, in kickboxing, she was told that, I mean, she became a Canadian champion, and then she fought for a world title and lost her world title to a woman in the UFC, Jermaine Durandamy, and that was in kickboxing. And she was like, you know what, I'm freaking done. Like, that was her dream. She was, I think, 27 at the time, and that was her dream, to be able to fight for a world title. And she was like, I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to do whatever. And then the opportunity for MMA finally showed up for women, and then her first fight she won in MMA, and then she fought every killer that there was in MMA. Like, she fought Jermaine Durandamy, she fought Amanda Nunes, and she fought Ronda Rousey, all within her first like 4 fights in MMA.
Wow.
So
holy shit, that's a crazy holy shit. She fought Harrison?
No, so that fight was intended to happen, and there's a lot of, nobody really knows, and it's not really my place to tell what exactly happened there, but we trained up to a week before the fight, and contract negotiations went sideways, and the fight we got pulled from the fight. She got pulled from the fight and released.
Oh, interesting.
From PFL.
Is that when she went to the UFC?
No, so she's been a free agent since this happened. So she had to take a year off because there's no other organization. So the UFC doesn't have her weight class because she fights at 145 at featherweight. PFL now owns Bellator, but Bellator's gone now. PFL was the only organization that had 145ers. So.
And now she was on the show once. She has a crazy story. I don't know if you know her story. Her story is nuts.
About no, I actually don't know.
Basically her judo instructor from when she was 8 to when she was 16 was molesting her. She wrote a book about it. It's a crazy book, Lance. It is wild.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I read the book, and afterwards I was like, I don't know if I should have read that. It didn't make me feel very good about humanity. But basically, so she's got some demons, right? But so then you're saying she took a year off so that she could lose that weight to see if she could actually get down to 135 safely and fight, which she's doing now.
No,
right? No,
she took that year off out of, like, it wasn't out of her decision. They once they basically blackballed her from the division, then from MMA pretty much. She's been having to take a year off of she's just been training to hopefully get an opportunity that's reasonable for her at her weight class. And there wasn't anything on the horizon for her. So she was hopefully going to fight again. And GFL came up. It's a new organization. They've signed like every big name out there. She'll be fighting in GFL this next year. But
Oh, wait. You're talking about Julia.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking about Julia. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
And you're a free agent now, right? You don't have a
Yeah.
home. You're
No.
5-0 amateur, 9-1 professional, and you don't have a home.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. So working on trying to get in the UFC. That's been my goal for as long as I can remember. And I mean, I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I believe I have a unique story. There's only a few people out there that have a father-son connection, but in order, you can have a father-son connection all you want, but you got to freaking win fights, and you got to be exciting, and you got to be entertaining. So at the end of the day, I feel I check those boxes. So when my opportunity comes, I'll be ready.
And your last 2 fights, first round finishes?
Yeah. So I went back to the regional scene, and I got the first one was like maybe 45 seconds, I think, in the first round, TKO, and then the second one was a submission, probably at like, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. I don't know.
Is it hard? Do people not want to fight you? Is it hard finding fights for you?
In ways, yeah, for sure, because I think I'm more well-rounded. It's not as easy to prepare for me, and I think there's a intimidation factor for sure on the regional scene. I think once I get to the UFC, it is what it is. You're fighting who you're fighting. So once they put who's in front of you, so.
And what weight are you gonna fight?
So I will be fighting at 155 at lightweight. I've had to kind of tweak a lot of things with my strength and conditioning to make sure that I wasn't too heavy. What was happening, I was getting kind of carried away. I was just lifting heavy for a while, and I was coming into camp too heavy, and then staying in camp too heavy for too long, and then screwing my weight cups up by doing too much of a like severe plunge, and it affects your performance at some point. And when I took I took a step back and kind of, because I always go inward, and I try to connect with exactly like I try to connect with God, and I try to see everything from like an aerial view. And I noticed I wasn't performing to my best ability, and it was due to me doing such a severe plunge in my weight cuts. So now I'll be fighting at 155 still, but I'll be doing it a lot more gradual and a lot more calculated when I step into my fights.
Do you have a fight scheduled?
Not currently. We were really hoping for UFC Seattle, February 22nd. So on that card, there weren't any lightweights on that card. I am, from what I've been told by my manager, I'm on a last minute replacement for that, but that would have to generally be at 170. So if somebody falls out at welterweight, I'll be in. So I'm just training my butt off right now, staying prepared for any fighting style, and so I can step in if that opportunity presents itself.
And Lance, I think I've had some other guests on who had to step in last minute who weren't with the UFC, but when you step in, it's kind of a good deal, right? Because you end up getting a 3-fight deal. They don't just sign you up for that one fight. Is that usually what happens?
Yeah, generally that's usually what happens. Yeah. And yeah, because it's like at the end of the day, they need somebody to step in there, and a lot of people are like, no, don't want to do it. So I believe you should be. Generally, they reward you with a good contract after.
When you mentioned in another interview you did that the first time you were working a corner, you were 7 years old. It sounded like you were carrying the spit bucket.
Yeah. It was, I don't know where it was. I think might have been Kirkland, Washington. I was actually, was I 4 or 5? I can't remember. I might have been 5 at the time. And then I was always cornering from then on and watching from the corner or at fights or at tournaments, whatever. But I've been around the sport for a while. Like when my dad was training for his UFC fight, I was in the gym every day with him. and yeah, that was in 2000. So yeah, it's been a long time. So that I've been just kind of on the mats with him.
Were you homeschooled, Lance?
No. I actually grew up in Seattle. Went to school in Seattle pretty much the whole way through, and then I committed to MMA, and I moved to train with my dad in Canada.
And you're a country boy, like I see, right? I mean, I see you like taking care of bees and just out in nature, and like that's your deal.
Yeah. Me and my family. Yeah, no. Me and my family, we have 5 acres, and we got chickens, we have bees, we got horses right next door, but it's all in the forest, and we heat our home with wood. So like I'm always chopping firewood. I'm always obviously taking care of my bees because man, it's a tough hobby because there's so many variables in beekeeping. But yeah, I'm fishing, I'm hunting, I'm mushroom picking.
What variables do you have?
Foraging.
What'd you say, Caleb?
What's the variable why is it so difficult? Don't you just like let them sit there and do their thing? No,
you gotta fight off the ants, right?
Just to a certain extent, like I know it's crazy. So for instance, this one pisses me off. Which we kind of live in a like more rural area, but they'll spray like pesticides on some plant and supposedly invasive plant, and that'll kill your bees. So like that's one variable. Another variables. So at the end of the season, yellow jackets, which are those mean wasps, they show up and they like literally they show up and they just start killing your bees.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Dude,
so you gotta you gotta protect them.
Oh God. Okay. Damn.
Lance,
Yeah.
I have this flowering eucalyptus tree on my property, and every year when it flowers, there's red flowers. There's so many bees in there that if you're anywhere near it, you can hear them humming. But there's thousands of yellow jackets on the ground, like 3-on-1. They just hang out by the tree and grab bees and pull them to the ground and eat them. It's crazy. And I just go around and stomp the yellow jackets, or I put those hangers out there. You know what I mean? That shit and just fuck in the yellow jackets. But they're crazy. You're right. They're vicious. So they'll attack your hive, huh?
Oh yeah, it's bad. Like if your hive is like, if they can like smell weakness, I find, because like we had like at one point we had like 10 hives, and probably 4 of the 10 were they're suspect on their strength, and the yellow jackets just they targeted them and attacked them until basically they were just done. Then so they would eat the bees, and then they would finish off with like honey as dessert.
Enter the hive.
Yeah, and then they enter the hive, and then they just take the honey. It's crazy.
Oh, that is crazy. Do you sell any of your stuff, or do you eat it all? Is that all for you and your family?
We're working on it. So I'm just working on having a kind of a more well-balanced availability of products. But we will be selling soon. I just want to make sure that I have more than just jars of honey. I want to have like, I don't know, propolis tinctures to add to or like I've been planning on like making a toothpaste because I have well, I don't like fluoride in my toothpaste, obviously, but I have tons of mint growing, and then I have this propolis base from the honeybees, which is like antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, the whole thing. And
that's a product from the hives, this propolis thing.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. They use it as glue. So they use it as glue to like seal in any cracks so no drafts come in. But it's like one of the most medicinal products that a honeybee actually provides. They don't even know what's actually like all the compounds that are actually in it. So there's partial honey, there's like sap, there's like tree sap, there's so many different compounds to it, but it's incredibly good for you.
Hey, did you I have a tooth powder. I also cannot stand fluoride, and I have a tooth powder. It's called Matuthian. I'll send it to you. Send me your address when we're done with the show, and I'll send it to you. It's awesome. Yeah, I sell it through the show. I peddle it on the show.
Oh,
I got
nice.
a little QR code on there. Yeah, yeah. And I have 3 little boys,
yeah.
so I was like, hey, what can I do to change the toothpaste situation? And my kids love it.
Oh, that's
my kids
awesome.
absolutely love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I'll definitely try that.
when you're ringside, as a little boy, is that scary? Is that intense? Like, is that emotional? Like, how do you process that watching 2 men, beat each other when you're 5? You remember those feelings?
Oh man, I think I didn't even care. I was so used to it by that point in time. It was just like normal. I would be in the middle of the gym. My dad would be training, ground and pounding. And I'd be like, hey, Dad, and I wouldn't want to bother him, but I would need something, and he'd be like, yeah, just go over there and grab it from behind the desk, and so it just became so normal to me. But I have so many memories of that when I was a kid as well. But yeah, it just was so normal to me. At the end of the day, I see a lot of kids that are really hesitant to it. I find for kids, it's like once they find comfort, or see that something's kind of like normal, that's obviously just common sense, but they're way more open to it. So like when I'm training my nephews, they think that it's like fighting, and I'm like, no, this is a sport, dude. Like, this is martial arts. This is what you do. And once they figure that out, it's like boom, they're doing everything, and they don't really care. So
my boys started training, the twins started training when they were 3. They're 8 now, and their older brother started training when he was 4, and he's 10 now. But you know what's interesting? So the twins started training when they were 3, and it wasn't until they were 7 that their fights around the house started looking like they're training. Do you know what I mean? So for the first 3 years when they fought, it was still a lot of slapping and punch and run. But now it's just like, and we got a jiu-jitsu room in the house, but now it's kind of crazy. That's kind of like a turning point for us. When I see them fight now, it's just straight up. They just will go right in the jiu-jitsu room and just
nice.
Yeah, there's one of my he was 7. That's one of my 7-year-olds. But now it's just straight to the mats. Just straight to jiu-jitsu, and it's kind of like a turning point. You know what I mean? Like, really, I actually see them fighting each other with their jiu-jitsu and with their striking, and it's not just like just bitch fighting anymore.
Yeah, for sure. They kind of hit that turning point where they actually can utilize the skills that they've been learning. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I was trying to say. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Did your dad take you a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments as a kid? How old were you when you first started like competing?
My first competition was at 4. We're kind of going through the archives trying to find all the videos because it was like VHS, and that's obsolete now. So we're trying to like find our archives where I have some tournaments from when I was like 4, and then like little kickboxing tournaments. But yeah, I mean, I was 4 at the time, but I can't say like my technique was like picture perfect. Obviously, I was like, when I watch it, I'm like, obviously I was slipping on a lot of stuff, but that's normal for kids, right? They get it over time.
And it's been nonstop competing in the ring, combat sports since 4 to, how old are you now? You're 26, 28?
29 now. I turned 30 on February 2nd. So, yeah. I mean, competing combat sports, all other sports too. I kind of started in combat sports, then football, basketball, track, wrestling, and then back to combat sports because you kind of go for what you know by that point.
What's the closest you've come to quitting? Have you ever come close to quitting? Like, fuck it, no more.
No. You know what's? I've never even thought about it. Like, never really even thought about quitting. I've come to a point where I'm like, why am I even doing this? That was actually after my first loss. Obviously nobody likes losing. That's like common sense. So generally what happens, your ego wants to say, hey, you need to just quit. You need to just hang up your gloves. that didn't really happen for me. After my first loss, I was just like, why am I even doing this? And what was my intention when I was doing, like, when I decided to even take this fight? Because I wasn't even in my right mind to like set myself up for success. I was just like, just kind of just like head down, training my butt off. But I think people forget, well, I forgot completely in that moment that most, like 98% of the battle is a mental battle. And I did all the physical, but I wasn't right here before I stepped in there. And that's like me not being prepared in my weight cut, but also me just thinking I'm almost invincible. I had this mentality that I was untouchable and invincible. Anybody can get knocked out. I got knocked out. Learning lesson. I woke up and I was just like, you know what? Why do I do this? And it came back to the foundation of like, when I'm passionate, I love the sport at the end of the day. I love being able to express myself in martial arts. So at the end of the day, I've never felt the quitting, and I don't think I really will, but I'll always kind of go back to like reflecting on myself and seeing what I've done wrong to even get to certain points in my life.
Let me throw out some guys out there, and I don't know if what I'm saying is true, but let's just throw it out there. Conor McGregor was on welfare. Sean Strickland's dad was beating the fuck out of him, and he probably got diddled by Uncle Buck. Wonder Boy probably had a perfect upbringing, but he's obviously trying to impress his dad, which we see in boxing, you know, all the time, the father-son team. So all these guys kind of have this like pathology, right? Like something happened to them, put a chip on their shoulder, and you know, they asked Mike Tyson in his career, hey, why don't you go see a therapist? And he goes, and have him accidentally take out one of my demons. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think
No
Tyson's whole thing, I think he was getting beat up and diddled as a kid too.
Yeah, probably.
Yours seems more like do you have any idea what's driving you like that? It's interesting. It's smart. You're really smart that when you lost, you didn't just go back to the drawing board physically, but you tried to recalibrate, you know, emotionally, intellectually. Do you have any moments like that? You know, I had a buddy who was a CrossFit Games champion, Jason Kalipa, and on graduation day, his principal in front of the whole school basically called him a retard. And that really pissed him off.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Basically yeah. And so like you grab that, you know, and you can't shake it. And so then you kind of like, I'll show the world. You got any of that in you?
You know, I do. Not really on a big, nothing that actually like bothers me that much, but just kind of growing up and then saying I wanted to be a professional basketball player as a kid. And my teacher saying like, you know, the chances of you doing that's like 1%. And it's like, okay, why do you need to say that to a 7-year-old? You know, why do you need to say that to a 7-year-old, dude? Like, you know, like, isn't the whole purpose to like well, I believe in God's word, it's like you can you can do anything. So it's like, I think for kids, it's essential that you literally make them believe that they could be anything, because the possibility, if they commit fully, like in their mind and truly believe it, they can achieve anything. So having teachers that told me that I couldn't do something, or like it was nonstop. They're like, oh, well, you're probably not going to make any money doing that. You're going to have to go to college. You're going to have to do that. I did all that. I was smart, but that always pissed me off, like a lot. And it was nonstop throughout my childhood. Like, they would just look at me and be like, you know what? The chances of you becoming a football player is like, they have that weird statistic. Oh, this many high school players do this and then go to college, and then college from here, like basically 0.0001 go to the NFL. Oh, thanks. You know, like, you're just trying to crush my dreams. I understand that it's being realistic, but at the same time, if if I say that's what I want to do, don't tell me I can't.
Right. And you know, there's that thing, people who don't dream the absurd never happens, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
even going, look at the guy, I can't remember what his name was, but it was the guy in the high jump. Maybe his name was Flosberry. They call it the Flosberry flop, but he was just some engineer who made it to the Olympics. Like he was like just some German engineer who randomly made it to the Olympics. And he's like, fuck, how am I going to win? I'm going to have to change how I jump and jump in a way that no one else ever jumped, right? Everyone else was jumping over like a deer. And then this guy was like, fuck it. I'm an engineer. He drew it out and he's like, I'm going to jump backwards. And he won the gold medal. Never won it again. Once everyone else figured out his technique, they destroyed him. But it's kind of like that, right? Dick Fosbury. I was calling it Flosberry. Fosbury.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. I didn't even know. I've heard of that, but I didn't know that. Yeah, that's
crazy story. Exactly. He invented that and then brought it to the Olympics and showcased it. Can you imagine the balls that fucking took? Everyone else is like looking at the world's greatest jumpers are like, you idiot. And then you win the gold.
Yeah. Holy crap. That's freaking awesome.
It would be crazy. Is there innovation still going on in fighting?
Yeah, I think you see it every day. I kind of always go back to Bruce Lee. Like, he basically says, like, take anything from any martial art. And it's like, it's true. You see guys that are doing things that are completely unconventional that you wouldn't necessarily work if you're looking at a strict MMA, looking from a strictly MMA lens. And I mean, they make weird things happen. Like, I mean, guys are coming out in fully karate stances. Like, you've been seeing the evolution of the sport in so many different ways. You see Sean O'Malley, for instance. Sean O'Malley's more of like, I would say, like, his agility is more based in like a basketball player than it is like a MMA fighter, and he uses angles and his agility in a way to knock people out. Just like, and so it's
And I don't want to take anything away from Merab, but Merab also brought back cardio as king, right?
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
He's great, but I mean, fuck, conditioning.
Yeah. And people are like, you could look at him and be like, oh, he's not that. Like, for instance, in that fight, it didn't look as technical on his aspect as it did. Like, this dude's a freaking cardio machine. Like holy crap. Like, and I'm talking about striking wise. I'm not talking about wrestling. His wrestling's very technical, and he's even technical in his striking. It just didn't necessarily look that way when you were watching him strike.
And another thing, he looks like he's having fun out there.
Absolutely.
That's also kind of crazy how much fun it looks like he's having, right?
Yeah. He's like dancing around. He's talking.
Taking his hands off. Even when his back gets taken, he's like,
just
kind of like floating around. Like an uncanny confidence, right?
Yeah.
When you watch the Merab, what's his name, Umar fight? Did you know that? Did you see Umar wilting?
Yeah, I don't know what round. I think it was, definitely in 4. You could see him breathing quite heavy, and I was like, Julie actually, because I was watching it with Julie and my dad, and Julie actually mentioned his coach, Merab's coach, was like, if it goes past the first round, Merab wins 100%. There's no doubt. And I was like, okay, like, Umar is freaking tough, man. And he's like, it looks like he's kind of like picking, he's starting to kind of figure him out. And then Merab just put on the gas and stayed on the gas all the way through the fight.
Merab couldn't close the distance for the first 2 rounds, I would say. They fought for the first 2 rounds at Umar's distance, right?
Yeah. And the counters of Umar, when Merab would kind of like blitz in, he would counter him with like 3 punches at the end. So it was quite risky. It was looking not his way, and then Merab just like does what Merab does.
For people who don't know fighting, can you explain? You have some insane pressure you put on people, and I think that's something that doesn't translate well TV. People don't really understand what pressure is and just how horrible it is. Can you explain pressure? When they're like, "Oh, this fighter's putting a lot of pressure."
Yeah, so like it starts basically with your presence, your cage presence. So like, and you could say like, I'm not gonna get too complicated, but you could say your aura. So as I come out, it's basically my entire demeanor. Like Mike Tyson, for instance. You see Mike Tyson, you know there's pressure on before the fight even starts. You know you're going backwards, and you know he's going to be in your freaking face the entire time. So it's ultimately your presence. So if I'm like looking real meek and mild, my opponent's going to put a shit ton of pressure on me. So ultimately it goes from like your placement of your feet, the angles that you're presenting in the cage, the way you're walking somebody down, if you're walking them down, and if you can get them to flinch. So on your feints, if you could get them to flinch, that makes them back up. Okay, I've established my pressure now.
The guy who's putting on the pressure is dictating the fight.
At times, yeah, unless it's a trap. So some really, really good strikers can like let you pressure them and be elusive at that same time until you come in and maybe hopefully they've created an illusion that they're there, but they're not, and they step out and counter from there.
Is that O'Malley? Is that O'Malley's game?
Yeah.
Come
He
close
kind
to
of
me.
He plays in front of you, and then he pulls the rug out from underneath you when you come to step in, and boom,
it's over.
Yeah.
How fun was this when you saw this? Did you know that? Let's play this for the audience, and then
Oh yeah.
I'll ask you some questions about this. There's a very famous guy on Instagram, Robin Black. He does breakdowns of fights, and here he broke down one of Lance's fights.
Piston knee, Fearless Lance Jr. There's a finish brewing, and the knee initiated the process, but it's a simple grip that has the most profound effect on this sequence. Big control. This is old school leverage, the stuff masters taught cops in the 70s. Push, pull, elbow. Big push, pull, knee. It's about keeping control and pulverizing, and then it's about marching in the troops. Clinch, trap, advance. Then he goes spine crank, tries to tear the vertebrae apart. If that doesn't create surrender, he'll pin his man down with an undefended point. 3 weapons to smash and bash and bludgeon until the desired result is achieved. Lance Jr. and his coach father, Lance Sr., combine OG experience with modern tactics to create martial moments of dire consequences. Lance Jr. fights tonight on Showtime.
Did you know he was going to do that, or you're just scrolling and you see it?
So we've known him for a while, but Robin had kind of mentioned, like, after that fight that I fought there, he had mentioned that he wanted to do a breakdown of it, and I didn't know when it was going to happen. I actually it was like months later, but it just posted in one of his top, like, I think top 3 of the year. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that was a fun fight. I enjoyed that. And he did a good job breaking that down. I thought that was kind of cool.
And did you know as he breaks it down? I mean, do you remember that sequence even before he breaks it down? Do you remember having that I don't know.
Yeah, the like like the handcuff behind his back, kind of. Yeah. I remember I remember that like it was yesterday. Like, I knew he was going to shoot in, caught him with the knee, and then when I got the handcuff, I was like, oh, it's over. Like, I knew it was game over because I knew he was too stubborn to stay on the wrestling. And that's when I just was like, okay, I'm just going to go to work here. My dad was just yelling elbow, knee. So I was just like hitting what was there. And then I was like, hey, I think I could take the back here. And it's called a high step, but I high stepped over and then took the back. But his spine was quite twisted, and I knew that from there. You can't really defend yourself. So even if he was like not completely hurt from the knee anymore, he wouldn't be able to defend himself. So the fight would be stopped.
God, you almost snapped his arm off there.
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal.
Hey, when that feeling when the ref pushes you off, is that a good feeling?
Oh yeah,
I always trip on because they just bulldoze you guys. You know what I mean? They just throw you off. Yeah,
yeah. You're so in the moment that like sometimes you don't even realize they're there. Like, like the ref's there. You just like in that moment. I have this like, it's not rage, but I just have a vicious side to me that I would say, you know how people are like, oh, I just seen red. It's not, I don't see red. It's almost like my pupils dilate and I just focus completely in, and I want to inflict as much damage as possible whenever I get an opportunity like that. And I didn't even know the ref was there.
You ever been in a fight where you're winning and you think the ref should stop the fight and he's not, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Like you're just hurting the guy too much.
I've been lucky to have good refs, but I've seen those fights where it's like, okay, like, oh man, like, could you please step in, like, help the guy out? The guy's hurt, you know, like, I haven't personally been in one of those scenarios, but actually, no, not my last fight, but the fight before, fight prior. So I touch gloves and the guy tries to sucker punch me right away. So he tries to not touch gloves, and he tries to just throw. And he throws like a couple punches and a kick, and I see it coming and I block his kick and I break his foot with the block.
Oh, I saw that fight. Me and my boy watched that fight like 10 times yesterday. And my 8-year-old my 8-year-old spotted, he's like, hey, something's wrong with that dude. I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, something's wrong with him. And then he was right. My 8-year-old was right. Yeah, that was crazy. That's crazy.
So I was kind of like
wondering what happened to him. And then you kicked him right in the same spot where he broke his foot afterwards. Yeah.
So that kind of it was like, his low shin like foot, and he was pretty banged up after that. But I felt bad more so because I was like, man, like I wanted you to at least be able to, but you shouldn't have sucker punched me at the same time. But at the end of the day, all is fair in war. So once that bell goes, the fight's on. So you got to be prepared. But he made a mistake. That was like instant karma. I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know. I was like, oh man, that sucks.
Caleb, you'll probably find that fight, Lance Gibson Jr. It's one of the first fights that pops up. Let me see. Do you remember the guy's name?
Sharon Spain with a C.
Yeah, that was a trip, and then all of a sudden he just falls down.
Yeah.
So he broke his shin on your elbow?
Yeah. I remember that too, like it was yesterday. Like I could see that he was like lining up to kind of run across and not touch gloves, because I've had lots of guys do that, where it's like they just try to run and do like the Masvidal knee, where they jump, they do that run across and then do the flying knee. Yeah. So I seen it coming from a mile away, and then, I mean, somehow I just knew exactly what he was gonna throw, and he got what he deserved for not touching the gloves, obviously.
Is that a crazy adrenaline dump after a fight like that? Because it's so short and you get so high and then you got to come down?
Yeah, for sure. Because I was really wanting to, like, obviously do my game plan, which was to, like, dump him on his back, because this guy, and then choke him out. That was more my plan, or knock him out on my feet. But, I mean, that counts. Like, I broke his leg and then finished him from there. But, yeah, it's definitely an adrenaline dump, because I was like, man, like I wanted to really send my fist through his head, but I couldn't. So that was kind of frustrating.
When you enter the ring, how much do you normally weigh? Are you back up to 170?
I'm usually like 186, 187.
So 22 pounds you put back on.
Yeah. So, well, it depends. Like that was for my fights when I was a bit bigger before when I was lifting a lot more, but these most recent ones, 183 probably is a little more natural.
Okay, because when I saw Armin yesterday, I told someone, I was like, "Hey, dude, he looks like he's 190," and someone's like, "How could that be?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm telling you, he was." I mean, I didn't even recognize him because his head got so even bigger.
Really?
I mean, he was huge.
Yeah, I mean, I watched
he had a
him
baseball cap on, and it looked like it barely fit his head.
Really?
Oh, it was nuts! It was nuts! It was nuts!
Holy crap! Yeah, I seen him grappling that guy Hamzat, and he looked like he was Armand looked like he was almost like 200 pounds there for sure. Like,
is that the one that's on the internet? They're like wrestling outside.
Yeah. I was like, Armand, that's not Armand. And then I'm like, oh, holy crap, that is. But he's definitely like 200 pounds for sure.
Did you wrestled in high school?
Yeah.
How did you do?
I was pretty good. You know, I had I had some weird stuff happen. Like I got shingles at 16.
Yeah, that is weird.
I got freaking shingles. Yeah, so like I got to the state disease. I know. I got to the state tournament and had shingles and couldn't wrestle, obviously, because I had shingles on my forehead.
Oh shit!
And it was it was brutal. I was like, man, my mom's ruthless. She'd be like, no, you're going to school. And like I got this big freaking mass on my forehead that's like sending electrical shocks down my body. And having to like show up in front of girls with a freaking big goiter on my forehead. That was horrible.
That's terrible. Awful. Hey, ladies. What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Don't mind that. Don't mind
Can
that.
you scratch my forehead?
Yeah. So that was crappy, but and then my junior year, I did really good. I was planning on going to ASU for wrestling, but and then I had a full ride scholarship to a Canadian university called Simon Fraser, but wrestling wasn't like my true love, to be honest. I was doing it for the skills more so than actually liking the sport. Like, so once I went to ASU, I was walking onto the wrestling team, and then I was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just gonna commit to MMA.
Do you do politics, Lance?
Not really. Like, I try to stay out of it. Like, ultimately, I try to keep myself in a place of like loving everybody, because I think there's so much division across the board. You know, it's like,
for sure.
I try to like, I'm not gonna hate anybody for liking anybody, and I'm not gonna I just try to stay pretty neutral. But I mean, I see everything for sure.
It's the reason why I ask is I really enjoy the drama. I've been just really and I grew up in a very liberal state, and I was brought up very, very liberal. And then I had kids, and I kind of had this journey. But what made me think about it with you also is someone who's in your position. You get traditionally, 20 years ago, the guy raising bees and working on a farm and loving the world and being a God man, you would be more on the liberal side, conservation side. But unfortunately, there's been so much protection of the environment that people like you who are trying to find their way in the world, there's so much fucking regulation holding you down from coming to market with your goods, and it just made me think of that. I
mean, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I mean, there's
it's the city people. I've started to learn it's the city people who are all the conservationists now, because all they do all day is live in a concrete jungle and shit on the earth. But they don't realize that the other 90% of the earth, that's not what it's like there.
Yeah,
like shit's good.
And
shit's good.
And they're not there. It's like you guys are saying this. So, for instance, in Canada, I'm a fisherman, so I'll explain this kind of scenario.
Please.
The news will. So there's orca whales. Everybody knows killer whales. We have this specific pod of what they're called our southern resident killer whales, and they kind of come to the Vancouver area. And this species of killer whales, allegedly, they strictly only eat one type of salmon, and they're an apex. Like everybody knows, a killer whale is an apex predator.
It fucks some shit up.
Yeah. So yeah. So
like you, Lance. Like
so basically, the way the news and the media portrays it is that these whales are starving because there's no salmon. And I'm out there every day. Like, there's tons of salmon out here. The whales just aren't here, or they're sick from other things. It's not the salmon. It's not the salmon that is missing there. And the way they also portray it is that the fishermen are taking all the fish from the whales. And once again, they're an apex predator. I'm pretty sure these guys with a fishing rod and a line are not catching enough fish to affect those whales. But basically, the way they portray it is that they only eat this one type of salmon, and it's not true. So that's a Chinook salmon right there, or a king salmon. They call it in the
By the way,
States.
that's an amazing picture of you. That looks like
but-
it's from like the 70s, and it looks like it's like that's got some Bob Marley feel to it. That's an amazing photo.
Yeah, thanks, man. So that's out literally right outside of downtown Vancouver, which is
Jimmy
pretty cool.
Cliff. You look like Jimmy Cliff there. God, that's an amazing photo.
Yeah, Jimmy Cliff. Yeah.
That's a salmon. That's a salmon. No.
Yeah.
Salmon get that big?
Yeah,
I had no
that's
fucking idea. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My grandpa caught a 52-pound.
Oh my
salmon
God.
Like that. So that one's probably like 21.
So you caught one twice that
And
size.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of that one. I didn't even know that was a salmon. I saw that on your Instagram too. That one was crazy. That one was ridiculous.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I took a boat ride to Antarctica, and I'd never seen so many fish, and right off the boat there were killer whales eating seals.
Holy
Just like
crap.
I was watching TV. They were catching them, throwing them in the air. It was nuts.
Yeah,
There was
that's
no
insane.
shortage of fish and whales and birds, and we weren't even on a whale watching expedition. I was going over there for something else, and just everywhere there's wildlife. So you're saying it's misrepresented, and then the city dweller who hasn't fished a day in their life is like believing the bullshit, and now they're eating a fake crab that's made of chemicals and all sorts of shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Are you glad Trudeau's retiring? Moving on.
I'm not like committed to it. I just think there needs to be a level of like sense out there. Like for instance, like with electric vehicles, it's like I don't care. Everybody has their own preference. Say I like pizza, you like steak. This person likes burger.
Right.
People can have electric vehicles, just don't put a crazy tax on gas. It's unnecessary. It's kind of it don't make a carbon tax. It's a little silly. It's just like, come on. Not everything. So like, for instance, say a gas chainsaw.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of gas chainsaws by 2025. And it's like,
it's crazy.
I have an electric chainsaw. It does not last long enough to work. Like I have a gas and I have an electric. The electric does not gives power, but it does not last as long as the gas does. So it's like, come on,
Listen
man,
up,
you can't
Devon.
do that.
He's making fun of me because I have an electric pole saw. Listen, I want a gas one. I'm just not man. It's baby steps. Baby steps.
For sure.
I would love to have the balls to have a gas still pole saw. I want one so bad. Yeah.
A pole saw is fine though. Like it's like when you're getting into like 20-inch rounds, it's like an electric chainsaw is not going to work. Again, you're going to need the power of the gas, but I just think it's kind of unnecessary to get rid of to try to just allow no more sales of new gas chainsaws. It's just
especially when there's no evidence.
Just like
especially when the evidence shows that electric is actually worse for the environment. Like that's what the evidence shows. Making the batteries, all that shit, the disposal of them. It's like, hey, dude, like we can't just. There's all these people believing all of these false premises. Like, hey, let's just everyone chill.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just.
I'm intimidated. For me, if I could, like, I've never even filled a gas can at a gas station, but like when I see like a dude at a gas station pulling back, like, you know, the foreskin on the nozzle and filling up a gas can, I'm like, damn, that's the manly shit. That's what kind of pussy I am. I'm like, holy shit. What if some gasoline gets on my hand? Oh my, what if some gas? I know it sucks.
I'm gonna set myself on fire. Oh my god.
Yeah. I walk across the street with a cigarette in their mouth, they panic. I'm such a
oh my god.
Cool. I know it sucks. I'm working on it. I've been in California my whole life. I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working out my libtard roots slowly but surely. How do we know? How do we know when you're gonna fight next? How would we find out? We got to follow you on Instagram, and then as soon as you know, you post it.
Yeah, I'll post it. I have like a strong like sense of feeling that it's in the UFC next. Hopefully in the spring. I have a gut feeling, and I believe that's the word of God. So when that's put in you, I think I'm just preparing. Seattle may not happen. Like the likelihood of somebody falling out is like maybe 2% right now. But at the end of the day, the destination stays the same. So just stay tuned to my Instagram. I'm going to be posting a bit more content of my training as well. Because I try to stay off of social media, but I also know that it's important that people know what I'm doing. So yeah, check me out at Lance Fearless Jr.
Hey, people, I bet you people would love to see all your fishing and bee stuff. People love that stuff. People love watching the athletes do other stuff. Which card is the February card that you were looking at?
That's the fight night with Henry Cejudo on it as the main card, I believe. Henry Cejudo versus
I can't believe Cejudo.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
There's Edson Barboza and Steve Garcia. That's 155, isn't it? Or is that 145?
I think it's 45.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe Barboza had gone up.
That's what he did for a while. So I thought that was a 55 fight as well. But I mean, I'll be ready for if I get a call.
The only welterweight fight on there is Adam Fugat and Islam Dulatov.
Yeah, so those guys, Adam trains down in Arizona, where I at Fight Ready, where I was at for a bit. So that's kind of like a tricky scenario. That would only be if Adam backed out, but I can't see that happening. And then, yeah, so I believe they put Michael Chiesa on there though, and they're looking for an opponent for him, and then they're looking for an opponent for another guy named Chitty.
Would you fight him, Michael Chiesa? You'd fight him?
No, so he's actually from Spokane, Washington, and he's been around my entire career, basically since I was an amateur. The organization I fought for, Excite Fight, in that last fight, those last fights that you were just watching, is from like his coach, his original coach from Spokane. So I wouldn't fight Mike, because that guy's a legend too as well. But I'm pretty close with him, so it wouldn't be that scenario.
Who's your manager? Who manages you?
My dad managed me for a long time, and then we've been working with Daniel Rubenstein.
Oh, that's a nice Jewish name. That's good. That sounds good. Yeah. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Lovely good. I married a Jewish woman. It's always good. It's good. It's like a lucky charm. Last thing, Lance, what's the best thing what's the best thing about your relationship with your father? And what advice do you have for fathers out there as a son who's really achieved a lot?
I think it's important to teach your kids to be a man, like your boys to be a man. And that's in just like the principles of their life in general. Like, well, one, treating others with respect, treating women with respect, learning how to love. So being taught that love through them, being taught that hard work's normal, like it's a thing you have to do. There's no going around it. You got to go through it. And I believe my dad he set a really good foundation for me, but I had a great mom as well. But my dad really set a good foundation of like understanding how to be a man. And I seen this video the other day. It was actually, I can't remember what it was, but it was talking about being a man means you're in service. And I truly think I'm in service, not even just to the people, like my loved ones around me, but to the world. So my service to the world is being able to portray myself in a humble and honorable way and to give glory to God, but be able to represent myself in my truest form in the cage and in anything else I do. So just staying true to yourself ultimately at the end of the day, that I think that's kind of like the like story of what I was just saying, which is like being true to exactly who you are and not trying to be some other fake shit that's some other like fake social media presence out there. Be who you are. And I'm the guy that's like out chopping wood, working on my bees, making sure my chickens, chasing away yellow jackets. I mean, picking up my dead chickens that get ripped apart by a hawk, like dealing with my chickens that get ripped apart by a coyote. Like it's just a normal everyday life, But
hey,
and I love it. So
I want to leave you with this, and you didn't ask me for my advice, so I'm going to give it anyway. I love everything you said. A dad should teach a son how to love. It should just love on him and let him and teach him to be a man. I'm gonna need help doing that. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat people with respect. All that shit's good. The one thing I really want to say to you though is, you're gonna have a whole life to do service. Do not run away from being selfish in your 30s, in your 20s and 30s. Be selfish as you fucking want and grind, dude. Make yourself, because you're going to hit, like, that's all I did in my 30s is grind. And now I'm 52. And like, I've been basically serving. Now I'm in full service and it's dope.
Yeah.
Just serve. But also, don't be super compassionate with yourself. It's okay to be a selfish motherfucker at your age. You have a lot to offer the world through your example. And, don't be afraid. You know what I mean? You feel me on that? Like, don't be afraid to just love the shit out of yourself and do what you got to do. Because you're in warrior mode, man. You gotta like, now's your time to like be the fireworks the world needs to see, and then you can wipe kids' butts and that shit later. Which is fun.
It's
fun. But anyway, don't be afraid to be selfish, dude. Yeah, you have so much to offer the world. All right, love having you on, Lance. I'll be in touch with you. Please send me your address. If you don't, I'll send you a text and remind you so I can send you out some Matuthian and get your feedback on it.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
And tell your dad thank you for making such a great son. And I really respect that. Tell your dad thank you on behalf of other fathers out there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, dude. Have a good day.
Okay. See you guys.
Ciao. Lance Gibson Jr. God, that was easy.
Yeah, he's really cool.
He's crazy cool. Yeah, that's a cool dude.
He's got a great smile.
You saw his Instagram. He's jacked out of his gourd.
Insane.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like a bodybuilder, CrossFitter. His body's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. He's a stud. I couldn't find that fight with him.
Oh, with that dude?
with his dad and Dan Severn. Would have been cool to watch that because I found Dan
that's
Severn.
nuts.
That guy's like
Legend.
he's massive, dude.
Hey, what are you doing? Shouldn't you be at work or some shit?
Snow day.
Serious?
Yeah. It's like it's threatening to sleet this afternoon or like midday, and yeah, they said we'll get a snow day. It's only like 32 degrees.
The worst part about being here on vacation is I didn't bring enough Paper Street coffee to last me. I drank all my Paper Street coffee in the first week.
That's rough.
I swear to God, it takes like 3 cups to match 1 cup of theirs with whatever this shit is I'm drinking.
Is it a Keurig?
Yeah, it's a Keurig.
Yeah, that's the worst.
No, I'm good. This is my 3rd cup. All right, we will be back. You want to hang out for a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go open the door. It's hot in here. We'll be back in just a minute.
I started CrossFit a year ago because I almost had a heart attack. And while I was laying in that bed, something just clicked in my head and like whatever I'm doing was not working anymore. I came in weighing 300 pounds. Now I weigh 220. I'm down 80 pounds. I remember it was such a nerve wreck for me. You know, thinking I'm not going to be able to keep up with these guys. Even with the women, I was scared I wasn't going to be able to keep up with them. And what really kept me going was the community we have here. To me, it meant a lot. It helps me keep going and get to that goal that I'm trying to reach. I'm so glad I have everyone and like encouraging me every now and then, even with the simple keep going. Back in May, I did my first CrossFit competition ever. I didn't think I was ever capable of doing something like that. And I did it. I completed it. I want to keep doing this probably for the rest of my life. CrossFit is creating a better future for me.
Two Brain Business, just coughing up the loot. Hey, Chris, we'd like to do an... No one else called them either. Don't call them for sponsorship. Stay away from my guys. But just call Chris Cooper and be like, hey, I want to do a video contest. All right. Cool. I want to give away like a couple $1,000 for first place. All right. I'll send you $10,000. What? Yeah, let's do it. We got 200 videos out of it. And I ask him, every time I ask him, I'm like, hey, dude, don't you want like me to write up what I'm going to give you? He's like, no, I trust you.
Wow.
I know it's crazy. It's so crazy working with him. And then I think I pocketed some of the money. What did I do with the money? How much did we give away for first place? 3,000?
Yeah, it's like 3, 2, 1 or something like that.
3 plus 2 is 5. That's 6. Oh! I know. I was going to say it's unlike me to pocket. We paid someone else to make a shitload of starter videos. Do you remember that? That guy who made all those great videos in the beginning.
Yeah, just kind of like. It was like demos. It was like, hey, we want it to look like, or you guys can make it look like this kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's sick.
So we broke even, and now we're just leveraging the affiliates' hard work to draw attention to the podcast.
Hell yeah.
I'm like fucking Huck Finn. Paint my fence, bitch. I tried to say it was Tom Sawyer.
Huh?
I tried to say it was Tom Sawyer the other day, and someone schooled me on it. They're like, that's Huck Finn. I'm like, fuck. What were you gonna say? What's Standy doing? Giving standees?
Standy asked how the wind's coming off the bay. It's freezing cold. It's horrible. I don't ever want to move back to Nebraska. I don't know what.
Yesterday, I guess there was some. So I made this video of I used CapCut for the first time, and I made this video of John Woolley. At first, I saw these pictures of Laura Horvath, whatever. And anyway, I think she's hot as shit. I love her face. You don't think she's hot? I love her face. God, I love her face. Anyway, so I saw the pictures, and then I saw John Woolley singing a song that I really liked, and I was like, fuck. And then I was sitting there, and I was like, I know I have this app called CapCut, and I hadn't heard about it in a long time, but I heard it got taken offline because of the whole TikTok thing. It's owned by the same company, ByteDance. So I opened up the app, and it worked. So I snapped it, I'm just sitting on my phone on the couch, just living the dream on the beach here in California. And I take a bunch of pictures, and I spent 30 fucking, maybe more, to be honest, editing this, just learning how to use CapCut and mixing John Woolley sing this song with these pictures I thought of that Laura Horvat were like totally awesome. And I was kind of getting a little emotional even. It was like 30 or 40 minutes of just, I know, I'm weird. I'm old, dude. I'm old, Caleb.
For why?
Just because I was just like thinking, I was just thinking like, that's why I wrote that line in college. I thought it was funny, but it was also true. In college, we could have all done mushrooms. We could have all done mushrooms together. But anyway, so then Woolley sends me, no, he does. Sorry, Woolley doesn't send me. So then Woolley, and I know it must be weird for Woolley because on one hand I'm just ass pounding him sometimes, you know what I mean, just like talking hellacious shit, and then another time I'm making like an ode, like, you know, loving on him. I just thought it was really, I was like, fuck, that's really cool. He can play the guitar. It sounded good. I thought the beanie was hilarious. You know what I mean? That he put the beanie, because it just reminded me of college, right? The guy puts the beanie on. Like I lived in Isla Vista, California. Yeah. I lived in Isla Vista, California, and there would be dudes at night at 3 a.m. just with their guitars playing as drunk chicks walk by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the common scene in college. And so I just this is my first CapCut experience. Anyway, so then someone sent me a screenshot of, I try never to go to his Instagram ever, because I don't want him to think that I look at it. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to watch anyone. If I watch your stories, I'm trying to tell you that I watched your stories. I don't really care about your stories. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I always watch Tyson Bagent's story, so I'll be on his radar. I don't really care what anyone puts in their stories. But like, if I see your story and I watch it, sometimes I won't even watch it. I'll just push it and walk away from my phone. So if you look, you can see that I watched it. You know what I mean?
God, Sevon, watch my story.
Yeah, thank you. So I go over the, so someone sends me screenshots that he's asking if that was like a compliment or when I made that.
Yeah.
And you get me. Yeah, it's just a monstrosity of an ego. I just have it like, it's just huge. It barely fits through the door. And if it what? Yeah, my wife says I'm very self-important. And so I have a healthy self. I have a healthy identity. What is it called when you say you have a healthy? Your kid has a healthy. It's like saying someone looks thick in the core, but really you're just saying they're fat. What's it called when you have a healthy? You have a healthy ego. It means you're a cunt. So so I go over there and I see it that he's got like some question like that. Is this a compliment or not? He's like doing a poll, which I'm like. So I text him and I said, hey dude, I don't know if it's a compliment, but what I'm going to read you exactly what I wrote. He's in my phone as meme guy. John meme guy, make WODs great again. Let me see. So I wrote to him, it actually was a compliment. I used CapCut for the first time and it took me 30 minutes to make that. And we don't text. Me and this dude don't text, right? So he's probably like, if I get a text from him, it's just really, it's weird. And if he gets one from me, it's weird. And then I said, and I heard you sing for 30 minutes straight. I enjoyed every minute, and I thought Laura looked beautiful in those photos. Hi, no, I don't have high. What? You're embarrassed for me? Tell me, break it down. Break it down.
It was the this to read your phone that did it for me.
My vision's going to shit. But here's the part of the story I haven't told you. The reason why I'm telling the story. So while I'm over there, like a fucking mouse that can't not eat the cheese that's in the mousetrap gets killed. Yeah. I click on his story. I click on his story.
Okay.
Right. To see if like to where that's at.
Right.
And I see his fucking workout that he did for the day.
Yeah.
And I wish I wouldn't have seen that.
Oh no.
He's still said something like, still struggling with my jerk, only got 200 pounds up today or some shit, 80% of my max. I was like, motherfucker.
Oh shit.
My dick went like, you fucking hoe.
What the hell?
Oh no. Fucking hate
Oh
it,
man. Yeah, you can't do that.
No,
it's
like horrible. It was horrible. It had all this other shit in it too. Like his programming is like 1,000 times better than what like I'm programming for myself. Yesterday, I drug a 25-pound dumbbell in the sand for an hour with my boys. Like that's my training because I'm on vacation.
That's good. Functional.
I got a heavy rope. I'm gonna do a heavy rope today until I puke.
Oh really? Like a drag? Is it a drag rope, or you get like one of those heavy metal ones that Rogue sells?
No, it's just a piece of thick rope I got on Amazon.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Each time you do a rotation, it feels like it's going to tear your shoulder out of the socket.
Yeah, and it's like breaks your toe whenever it hits it.
Yeah, you could never use it. It's way too short for you. Yeah, I wonder what you would do.
That's the problem that I have with those Rogue drag ropes. The only one they have is a large, and it is just not long enough. So like, I don't know how people use those.
California hormones is the only way.
That's a really good idea.
Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you about why I'm not using peptides.
Because you, why?
I would do it. I would get like 4 bottles of the CJC 1295, the BPC 157. I'd get everything. I would get it all. Matter of fact, I filled my shopping cart with like $3,200 worth of stuff.
Jesus.
I would fully cheat. But then as soon as I think of the fact that you have to fill all of those bottles up, and I never do it accurately. I never do it the way Hiller teaches. I just take the water, I fill it up 3/4. I'm like, that's good. And then every day I just pull a little into a syringe and shot it into me. If I were to do it, I've never done it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not figuring out the doses. I'm not filling those bottles. I just don't want to do it. If someone else did it for me, like if Haley was like a nurse and she's like, hey, I'll get you all juiced up on whatever, I would do it.
Yeah. If it was like pre-filled syringes or something, that'd be so much easier.
Yeah. Or if it was just pills.
Yeah, or just pills. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Talk about broken science. Yeah.
Oral TRT.
I don't know if peptides are strong enough to pull Sevon out of his gay slump.
What? Dutch Rudder 69. Okay.
Hey, valid. Totally fair.
Gay slump. Sometimes
if someone wants to come to my house, theoretically speaking, I would never cheat to do the open. But if someone wants to come to my house and have all the bottles filled up with the water and tell me and write on there, fill the syringe to 20 every day, I'll do it. Other than that, there's no fucking way I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I brush my teeth and wipe my butt. It's like,
and it's a struggle for me to fucking brush my teeth, dude.
Yeah, I hear you.
I gotta fucking put this shit on my toothbrush, and
that's why Matoothian's so great. You just fucking slap the toothbrush in the powder.
I have always hated the process of brushing my teeth. I don't know why. Even if I like it, I don't care how I do it, but whether it's paste or powder or whatever. But just having to like sit there and brush my teeth every morning, it's just so annoying.
You know, it would be cool if you could just buy 100 toothbrushes that were already had whatever like toothpaste or tooth powder on them, and you just walked up, grabbed it, brushed, and threw it away.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Preloaded toothbrush.
Preloaded toothbrush.
All right, I think we're on to something here. Just it's like you can make it out of like, I don't know, biodegradable wood or something.
Matoothian's this shit. I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's crazy, and it's so easy. I know. I love it too. Laziest shit I ever heard. I'm just telling you. Hey man, I was that kid. I'm telling you, I was that kid between I was 5 and 10, maybe 12, that just never, like, I didn't even wipe my butt. I took a shit and just pulled up my pants and ran off the toilet.
That's insane.
My wife's like, ugh. I mean, my I wore white tighty whities, and every one of them was destroyed. Sometimes I take my underwear off at night and there would just be like a cake of poop on it. Thick.
That's my worst nightmare. I would like.
That's shit I had to do. I had to get back outside and throw rocks at cars passing by.
Just swab those poopy fingers all over the place.
No, poop didn't get on my finger. It was just all in my pants.
That's so disgusting, dude.
And that gross. What are you talking about? Do you wipe or let it crust? Those are words in Brain Rot song. I never thought anyone would let it crust. Skid mark. I mean, I'm good now. Now I'm good. Now, I mean, you know what's crazy? My wife I eat a steak every morning now. My poops, I all unicorn poops. When I poop, I wipe once. Oh, I could tell you a crazy story. I could say something just.
Do it. Say it.
About 5 years ago. Oh, this is David Weed. I don't know if I can say this, dude. This would be the most vulnerable thing I've ever said on the podcast. David will never let me live it down.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be like calling the cops. If I say it, it's going to be it's going to be. It's going to be.
He's already. He's waiting. He's waiting. I don't know, man. Maybe hold on to that one for a little while. You don't have to tell us everything all the time.
That's what Dave would say. But this is something I should be proud of. But I know it's this behavior. It's this thing that I do that's just not cool. Like according to like cool parlance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's not cool. Like a guy who stands with his hand on his hip is just not cool. You know what I mean? Or like if you know what I mean? Or if you stand around with your hand like this as a dude, it's not cool. It's just like there's things that
your nails like, or you look
you
look at your nails like this and
yes,
like this.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm really not good at swallowing things down. David definitely lives in your head.
Did you guys know that when you have a 9-volt battery,
that's a 9-volt battery? That thing is huge.
It's actually just a bunch of like AA or AAA batteries within cells within it. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
That's not a 9-volt battery.
This is a 9-volt battery. This is actually from my smoke detector. I took it out because I didn't want it to go off.
Look at how defined the edges are. Mine are all rounded.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's weird. It's probably old.
So you're saying if I hit that open with an axe, there'd be 2 AAA batteries in there?
Yeah. If you you can just peel this open and then like flay it out and like lay it flat. Like it just has a bunch of cells in it, like actual like.
Will they be 2 cylindrical batteries in there?
No, it's actually, I think it's like 6 of them. 6 cylindrical batteries on, like 3 on either side. Like this side and this side.
Oh,
and they're
shit.
all in just like, yeah.
No wonder those are expensive.
Yeah. Now you
Is
know.
a D-cell battery like that too? You know the big Ds that you put in kids like toys? Like in like so. Guns, like those guns they have?
Yeah. It just has a bunch of different cells within it. Pretty wild.
RVs have smoke detectors, and carbon.
Yeah,
and carbon detectors.
The other weird thing about RVs, there's like, you know how like building a house, you have to have like regulations about like, oh, you can't put flammable materials within X amount of feet, or like every outlet needs to be a certain amount of inches off the ground, like all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, so all of my curtains or like shades are like that. It's like a fabric kind of color. There you go. 6 1.5-volt batteries.
Let me do the math on that. 6 times 1.5 is 9 volt. Okay. All right, go ahead. Back to curtains.
But over the stove, they had to put metal curtains because it's a flame risk, I guess. But
metal curtains?
Yeah, like a metal, like you know how like metal metal curtains. Like it's like an aluminum. And I just found that silly because there's like cloth curtains right next to it, but it's just outside of the range. But yeah, I also have a smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector. It's weird.
Custom ripple fold curtains and drapes material. I'm looking at these are expensive. Metal curtains are expensive.
Yeah, but it's like a small one. It's like a really small window, but
it's called the iron curtain. Like is it like a space blanket?
No, it's like aluminum. I don't know.
Metal RV curtain. Oh, do they slide like this or does it pull up and down?
Pulls up and down.
Oh, I see it. 1-inch aluminum mini blinds.
I would turn it, but my kitchen sink's kind of covered. You couldn't be able to see it.
Oh, I get it. I see it. Here. Do everyone a favor. Like these.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that. Aren't
those called like levelors or something? Levelors?
I've never heard that word before.
It's old school. It's 80s. All right, I dodged a bullet. I didn't share my. I'll share that some other.
Is it true that if I have a $20 bill that's ripped in half and I turn it in, they'll give me a regular, like a whole $20 bill? Like
I don't know. That sounds
sounds like printing money, right?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Hmm.
Did you see Jeff Bezos' wife at the inauguration yesterday?
Boy, did I. And I think everybody did.
Just like
even Zuckerberg did.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've seen the clip?
Yeah. Is that what you're gonna show?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
This is amazing. Hey, so is this AI?
No, I think this is real.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Is that the Jew husband of Laura Trump right there on the left? This guy? What's his name? What's the Jew husband's name? Laura Bush, Laura Trump. He made a couple billion off the Saudis last time Trump was in office. What's that guy's name?
I don't know.
Kushner. Thank you, Brady. Kushner? Jared Kushner. Is that a Jew name, Haley? Kushner? It is? This is crazy.
Oh, this is AI. This one's definitely AI.
I don't know. Looks real to me.
The one with Zuckerberg like looking over and then looking down and then looking up and laughing, that is not AI.
Oh shit, I haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
No, I do want to see that.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back and find it.
What's her Zuck looks at boobs. I'll just put that into Google. Oh yeah, it came up. Mark Zuckerberg spotted staring at Laura Sanchez's boobs at inauguration.
Yeah.
TMZ.
That's hilarious.
Let me just go straight to videos. Oh wow, even the New York Post is reporting this. This is great. Wow. Hey, that's the coolest thing. If this is true. Oh, look, a tampon commercial.
It's made to give you that cleaner, drier, fresher pad feeling all
They should be a
day
sponsor.
long. Always Gush ready.
Found one of those in my car.
Oh, that's awesome. How could he not? That's the first cool thing I've seen Zuck do.
The fact she's wearing lace to this is pretty wild.
Oh, shit.
That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous.
God, that's the first cool thing I've seen Zuck do. Jeez Louise.
There's another clip where he smiles after he does it.
God.
He probably took a few looks then because
Bezos and his porn star wife show up to the. Oh shit. So he was peeping them the whole time.
Dude, he sat right next to her. Of course he was. That's insane.
I would have shown insane discipline, I think. I hope. What's that black dude doing in the back? Is he resting his head on Zuck's back?
I don't know. There are a few times where it looked like somebody was like leaning in on top of like Barron Trump or like Bezos and talking, but their mouths were not moving at all. They must have got really good at talking without their mouths open. His wife, Bezos' wife, was doing it too. She would like look over at him and just not like you couldn't. They were talking for sure. But you couldn't tell.
Bezos' wife and Barron?
No, and Bezos.
Oh. Bezos was looking at his wife's tits?
Yeah.
Imagine being Barron Trump the whole time you're talking to her. You could just look at her tits and she wouldn't even know.
Yeah. He's got free reign, dude. Being that tall is pretty amazing. I'm not even remotely that close to being as tall as him, but
and there's
being my height is like,
yeah,
it's sick.
Man. Sevi, you only look at boobs that are waist high. Oh, RFK stares at her hammers too?
Where'd you send it?
Let me see if let me check my. I don't really know how to do this. Let me see if I can find Standy in my DMs.
Oh, she sent it to the podcast phone? The one that's on here?
I'm not allowed to have access to that. You know what's crazy?
No, it's the podcast phone.
Oh. Let me see. Oh, it's the same one. What are you talking about? The same one.
Standy's obviously not paying attention.
He just Zuck could not resist, and for it to get caught on.
God, that's awesome. I ain't hating. I respect it. Hey, keep it down. I'm doing a podcast. Oh, okay. You can sing, but you got to go to a different room. Oh, look it. We have some activity in the back. You see that?
Yeah, interesting.
What's he doing?
Standy said scroll up.
I mean, scroll up. Oh, you sent me two? Oh, yeah. Wow. How can I get this to my computer? Hold on. I'm watching now. Oh yeah, RFK. Holy shit. And you know RFK's on the T, so he fucks.
RFK fucks, dude.
God, we live in such a good world. Let me see.
This AI shit is crazy. Did you see the video of Kamala walking? Like, it's an AI video of her walking down the street with jorts on and just a bra and then like a 40 in her hand. And her hammers are just like moving up and down while she's walking down the street, just like looking around. Like, it's like, dude, what the fuck? Who's coming up with this shit?
I saw the one with I just texted to myself. Let's see if it shows up. I'm like, oh, here it is. I saw the one with Michelle Obama.
Oh yeah. First day of unemployment.
Jesus, that's loud. I don't know how I'm going to show this without showing you all my shit. Fuck it. I'll just do it. If you guys see text messages, just ignore them. Here we go. Let's see. And do that. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that works. Nice.
Insta chub. Wow.
Honest.
What is she wearing?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. She's wearing a suit jacket with lace underneath. To the inauguration. This isn't a wedding and this isn't the bedroom. What is she doing?
At the 2008 CrossFit Games, Lauren Glassman showed up there, obviously, and she was wearing the smallest bathing suit top, and she just got the biggest fake D's, like probably money could buy, and she had them out the whole time. It was, I'm going to say it was inappropriate.
Really?
Yeah, maybe that's misogynistic on my part to just not just fully love all titties and let them be free. But it was, and there were two porn stars there too at the event, and you couldn't distinguish between her and them. It was crazy. It was
businesswoman.
It was a scene. It was a little bit more of a scene than this, but yeah, Bezos' wife. That's definitely a scene.
God,
those were the good old days when porn stars came to the games.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Every man there, straight or gay, is catching a peek at those. Can't hate on biology. I don't. Oh yeah. If you didn't look at those, something's wrong with you.
It takes a lot to not,
I don't have a gas powered chainsaw, but I stare at tits. Redemption.
Oh, jeez.
Redeemed. I have to pee already.
Teresa, she's a Latina. They wear the porn star shit to the gym too.
Oh shit! Look at this.
That's fucking funny.
Oh shit! Look at this. Dale just sent me this. This is in reference to our conversation yesterday about the president's helicopter. I guess they're getting a new helicopter for him.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
Oh, wow. They had to buy, that's a separate. It's not just a defense contract, I don't think. They had to be hey, we're going to custom make a helicopter for the president.
And they ordered it from the Chinese.
I fucking hope not.
Damn.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love a new helicopter.
Hey, and a lot of helicopters you can't drive around like that, right? They just land on skid plates and you're stuck.
Yes. Military aircraft are always able to military helicopters are always taxiable though. They always taxi.
Oh.
You're thinking
he bought that with Trump money.
With the Trump coin? I think there may be a couple of helicopters that the military uses that are just skids.
I have so many fucking nasty clips. What is this? I'm going to read this article to you guys. No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Have you seen anybody on your social media posting changing their profile pictures to black squares again?
No, what's the deal now?
I think just because Trump's in office.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's my Facebook now. It's just been a.
If you see a black square, it only means one thing. I hate black people. Just remember that.
I don't even know what it means anymore. Whatever, it's been appropriated to just.
Sir, Mike Johnson said this to President Biden. I don't even know what LNG is. It's something natural gas. Sir, Mike Johnson said this to Joe Biden. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? The speaker asked. I didn't do that, Biden replied. Biden had 3 weeks earlier, but he wasn't aware of what he had signed. The Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has had a front row seat to the intellectual decline of Joe Biden. On Friday, in an interview with Barry Weiss for Honestly, Johnson shared an anecdote that demonstrated just how checked out the outgoing president has been. Jesus, my reading's a mess.
He's not checked out. He's
During the third week of January 2024, Johnson was invited to a meeting at the Oval Office with several Biden's top national security advisors and cabinet chiefs. The ostensible purpose of the meeting was to persuade Johnson to support the latest aid package for Ukraine. But Johnson also wanted to talk with the president about a recent executive order that paused the approval of new permits to export American liquefied natural gas, LNG, to our European allies, an import issue for his Louisiana constituents. In the course of a one-on-one with Biden, Johnson learned the president was unaware of his own executive order. Can I ask you a question, sir? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Johnson recalled telling Biden, sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you are fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him now. Biden, according to Johnson, was stunned. I didn't do that, Biden said. Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order like 3 weeks ago. Biden continued to deny that he had paused the LNG exports at the point. Johnson suggested that the president ask the president's secretary to print out the executive order so the two could read it together. Sir, you paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people in my state. I've talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy and national security. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought we are in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know. Just imagine how many times that shit happened.
All the way up to the end.
You should watch the clip on this. Why, when Johnson actually says it, he says it better than I read it. Is that what you're fucking saying? Can't play this for some reason. Well, let me play it.
That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's the past 4 years. It's so bad.
I can't. I just...
Fuck the Dems. Hey, all those fucking people who allowed him to stay in power should fucking be taken out and fucking beaten.
He's the people, the generals are already starting to get fired. And I mean, I think just the mass like removal of people from office has already started too. It's...
Bye, babe. Have a good yoga class.
Bye. Have a good day.
Caleb says bye. Generals are already being fired, Caleb?
Yeah. Somebody was saying that there are, during World War II, there were like 7 generals, like 7 4-stars. And since then, it just exploded to 44 or 45 4-star generals. Which
yeah,
is
I saw
insane.
that too. And we won the war. And we won the war with only 7.
Yeah, exactly. People just started creating jobs for themselves. Anyway.
Financial incentives to get a vaccine on the schedule.
Some of the behind the scenes incentives that I don't like. Doctors get end of the year incentives and bonuses from the insurance companies for every fully vaccinated patient they have. I've seen bonuses on the level of $250 per patient, $400 per patient.
How many average patients your average pediatrician have?
I have about 14,000 patients myself. Say 1,000 kids come through your office.
That's $250,000
that year.
or $500,000.
Yeah, the bonuses are huge. And if you're an office that has 10 pediatricians, that's multi-million-dollar bonuses. Kind of wonder, where do the insurance companies get the money? I almost feel like they're incentivized by the pharmaceutical industry who makes the vaccines. Do they somehow incentivize insurance companies to promote their products and bonus doctors for giving their products? I don't know.
Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. 300. Oh wait, calculator. I need calculator. Calculator. Did I spell that right? Okay. 300 million. Let's say that's how many people there are in the United States who get vaccinated. That's one. That's 300,000. 1, 2, 3. Times let's say $200. I think that's low. My calculator can't even fucking do it. 300 million times 200. So that's 3 billion, 30 billion, 60. That's $60 billion in bonuses to doctors. You are fucking crazy to take an injection from a doctor. I mean, you are fucking batshit nuts. I could get any one of you to blow me for $60 billion live on the air. Blow myself. I'll take out three of my vertebrae and blow myself for $60 billion on the air. It's crazy. This thing I'm about to show you is nuts. Patrick Clark, he said something kind of interesting here. They don't get fired. They get reassigned to cleaning toilets because their term coincides with the president's.
Oh, Standy said she'd do it.
Yeah.
For $60 billion.
Thank you. I knew you were attracted to me. this is crazy. This is a U.S. Navy recruiting office in Alhambra, California. Every recruiter here is Chinese, as well as all the people coming to enlist. The working language here is also Chinese. The video was filmed by a Chinese language YouTuber and the U.S. Navy recruiter who took him there to film all this in EN2 Clang Wang. This is I don't know what that is. That's the guy's name.
Ends in second class, so like it's a Navy rank.
In the description box of this video on YouTube, which was uploaded on December 1st, 2024, it's a fucking year ago, Clang Wang's contact information is provided. And what concerns me is that the first option listed is that WeChat ID, the telephone number of the office, comes as the second choice. One thing I'm sure of from listening to their accent is that they all come from mainland China. Everyone in this video. This is fucking nuts, dude. Watch this.
这是我单位的领导。你好，简单的 PRP 的一个 brief 就而已，不会真正的 PT 的那种。然后知道签字对吧？对，签字。签一下那个，稍等，要记录一下你的提示。这个还是有软件，这是你手。哎，早上好。早上好。好。
How can this be?
I have no idea. It's pretty fucked up. You're just allowing all these people to join the military. You're allowing like Chinese citizens, probably. They're not American citizens. I would guarantee it. And you're allowing them to join the United States military and have like who knows what jobs. They're not going to be scraping paint, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God.
I mean, even if they do, like, there's so many ways that they could just gain access to anything. I mean, I don't know. Just if you're determined enough, I guess.
Jake Chapman, hi, how are you today? Good to see you. I have news from your country, buddy. Please step forward. I'd like to address you this morning, Mr. Chapman. It's been a few years since I've been to the UK. Elon Musk recently asked the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Cucks and Pedos, United Kingdom of Pedos, to step down. This is Parliament's first openly gay member. He's an MP, whatever the fuck that means. This fucking country, man.
The Defence Minister, Ivor Kaplan's pronouns in bio, didn't quite turn out as he'd expected. After allegedly planning to meet up with a 15-year-old boy, Kaplan encountered an activist group that had been posing as the 15-year-old boy.
The reason you are not meeting this child to have sex with them is because we've turned up. No, I wasn't going to have sex. Well, why have you told this child that that was what your plan was then? Black and white, it's your words.
Kaplan, of course, denied the allegations against him, but after the activist group handed over evidence, Kaplan was arrested by the police and had his apartment searched on suspicion of engaging in sexual communications with a child. The same guy, just days beforehand, was all over the media slamming Elon Musk for accusing senior Labour Party officials of being complicit in covering up the grooming gang scandal.
What I am really, really against of what Musk has said, those type of comments are not acceptable.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure you're the guy to be lecturing Elon on unacceptable behaviour, mate. Former Labour Defence Minister, I
want to explain something to you. Not you, Caleb.
The royal you.
When you say that blacks proportionally disproportionately commit more crimes than all the other skin colors, I've said this a million times before, there's no cause and effect there. Zero. And if you think that, you're a fucking idiot. You're not born with black skin and then all of a sudden you're going to be a criminal. It's just a correlate. It's like it's like, but when you say Nigerians are the most successful immigrants in the United States, you're saying that you're not saying that they're black Nigerians. We assume they're black, and we know it has nothing to do with their skin color. We know it's because Nigerians obviously have a culture that when they bring their fucking kids here, they become doctors and lawyers. But when you say that men are responsible, I'm just making this up, for 94% of all murders in the United States, that's not a correlate. Has something to do with being a man. When you say that men are 98% more chance to be criminals, that has something to do. There's a cause and effect there. Do you see the difference? And this one's really gonna hurt. But when you see people with pronouns in their bio, and you have gay men, and then they're involved with pedophilia, or raping other men, or taking advantage of other men sexually, that is not a correlate. Men who chase other men are significantly more perverted than the other kind of man. The other man has natural roadblocks that stop him. You know, of course, there's rape. There's man on woman rape. But you're not like, oh my God, I'm shocked he has pronouns and he's gay. It just is. I'm not. There's nothing. I'm not being homophobic or anything. It just is. It just is. Did he ask them to give a Nazi salute afterwards? I'm assuming you're joking. That would be another thing. Like it's not a anyone who thinks that Elon Musk gave the Nazi salute, it's not a correlate that they're fucking low IQ retards trapped in their head, mentally ill people. Anyone with like 2 fucking brain cells and is not mentally ill knows that he was like sending love from his heart, and that he's fucking obviously a little autistic and awkward. I mean, you have to be a full retard not to know that.
The same people that are putting black squares as their profile pictures again are the ones that are actively complaining about that, about him.
And if you have a black square, it's because you think black people are less than white people. I get it. I mean, it's not and you think you're hiding. You're unconsciously hiding, thinking that you're doing something benevolent, but you're just a moron. It's crazy. The fucking UK is a mess. I saw some stat the other day that like 58% of London is immigrants. What a mess.
Jeez.
I saw this. I thought this was a bad sign. When you have when you there's a certain age in your life where you just stop doing bad shit like stealing and shit. I was watching this video the other day. This is he pretends to drop his cell phone. Some 60-year-old lady. Like when you're 60, you return that shit. There's a certain age you reach where you just, you know what I mean? Like if you're 14, you and your buddies pick that up and run off with it.
Right.
But when you're 60, that's a bad sign. I wonder what happened. Did it electrocute her?
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome. That's a bad sign for society when your old people are stealing from young people.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Jake, where are you? What are you doing? Hope you're out beating up some pedos. I'm not done. I'm not done with the pedos.
Gangs and the police were doing nothing, but they did come for you.
This is a father of a Rotterdam grooming gang member victim. He tells GB News how he was arrested twice when trying to rescue his daughter from an abuse den.
What happened when you tried to save her from an abuse den?
I was arrested outside, put in police car, taken away. We lived up next estate, so as we were passing, the stop car told me that I would be arrested, to go in the house and don't go back. I was that mad and furious. I went back to the flat. Within a few minutes, police were back but this time in a van, and it were only a few minutes. So there must have...
I'll translate for you. He was outside the den where his daughter was being raped, and the police arrested him. Fucking crazy. Can't even believe these stories. There's so many of them coming out now. Meanwhile, on the home front of good news for gay people, the historic LGBT, I wish they wouldn't say that, the historic homo Trump appointment that got overshadowed, March 6, 2020. Last month, President Trump named, this is 4 years ago. Last month, President Trump named Richard Grenell, the U.S. ambassador to Germany, acting director of national intelligence. Was he former U.S. ambassador to Germany? The move immediately sparked criticism as the latest example of Trump choosing a political loyalist for a non-political job. But amid the controversy concerning the prudence of the appointment, its historical importance has been obscured. For the first time in American history, an openly gay person will lead the intelligence community. A remarkable development considering that. Meanwhile, I watched CNN yesterday for 5 hours. You would not fucking believe the lies they tell. You would not fucking believe the lies they tell.
What'd they say?
They said it was Elizabeth Warren was being interviewed on CNN, and she was talking about all the police that were killed on Jan 6. So I looked it up. There was one police officer that died Jan 6 at the Capitol. One. And he died of natural causes. He had a heart attack. And do you know what that means? He died from a fucking COVID shot.
Oh. Well, he was definitely mandated to get that.
One thing happened on January 6th, and I'm going to tell you. It was a complete police failure to protect the fucking Capitol building. By the way, another thing they lied about, they said they're saying CNN says that it's a lie that Trump offered National Guard. I looked, he offered it 2 days in a row. He offered it on the 5th and the morning of the 6th. He told them, hey, get as many National Guard there as you want. I got it off of government websites. I read the transcripts.
Yeah.
It was a complete failure on the police department. If you cannot protect the Capitol building, that has nothing to do with the people there. There was no riot there. People didn't rush the building with a tank or with guns or with fire or with knives and bayonets. It was a complete failure on the police department. All the police there should either be fired or the leader of the police should be fired. The fact that you can't protect that fucking building means you're just completely incompetent. It was just complete incompetence on the police part.
Yeah.
Complete incompetence. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing else to say. It was just complete incompetence. And CNN keeps talking about how he pardoned the people on Jan 6th. Oh, they also said that there were no FBI agents in the crowd. They also said that yesterday. 4 illegal aliens stomped a cop in Times Square 2 months ago. The police fucking caught the guys and released them. That's it. That's all you need to know. Jackasses. Can't stand the fucking Democrats. Can't stay. CNN's so bad. It just went on and on. It was just lie after lie after lie. They're tripping. Meanwhile, Biden has given Fauci a pardon, but they're worried about him pardoning Jan 6 guys. There's a bunch of videos of the DC mayor denying she wanted Trump's National Guard. I mean, yeah. But if you watch CNN yesterday, I mean, and they're tripping, dude. The reporters look like just beaten dogs. It's so good. So good.
You should. There was a video going around of a bunch of people in San Francisco. I don't know where they were, but they went to like the top of a hill, and all of them like simultaneously just started screaming. I was like, oh my God. That is all you need to know about liberals is
Jake Chapman, I have something for you. This is the mayor of London being interviewed, pretending to be stupid when asked about grooming gangs in London. Listen, Jakey. This is your country, baby.
Asked you this question last week and you found every which way but not to answer it. Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
To avoid any misunderstanding, can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex, that is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford, and lots of other places in the country?
Just for what's misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
You know full well what I mean by that. It's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
Today, I'm unclear, Chair, what is meant by the question. If she could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening?
Can you imagine not being able to address women being raped in your country? This guy's such a douche, Sadiq Khan.
It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
I mean, he's just being deliberately awkward there, isn't he? Incredible.
I don't think there's a more dangerous person in UK politics than Sadiq Khan. What he's doing to London is nothing short of disgraceful. There's a reason why businesses, corporations, individuals, talent are all leaving the United Kingdom, in particular London. And I think he is a major, major reason behind that. If you look at the decline of London under his leadership, directly as a consequence, there's a lot of the political stuff you can argue. You can look at blame Tories. You could argue it's been something that's gone on for years and something that's been brewing, something that's not been addressed. And there's definitely a reality to that in terms of the UK general growth decline. It's not something that's happened overnight, although Sakira seems really want to make it even as bad as possible, as soon as possible. But I think with Sadiq Khan,
It's insane. London's like Chicago. Just completely falling apart. All right, I'll be back in just a minute.
Because of CrossFit, I've been able to become a mom, and that's not something I ever expected to do. Every endometriosis diagnosis is different, but there was a time in my life where it was really bad. I couldn't bring groceries in without being in pain. I couldn't hold my husband's hand without triggering chronic nerve pain, and I gave up that dream of becoming a mom because I knew that with endometriosis I was going to struggle with fertility and didn't want to risk being that kind of mom that wasn't present physically for my daughter when those inflammation flare-ups happen. And me and my husband went through the process of grieving and accepting that. The main priority was like my quality of life and can I manage the inflammation and not be in pain. I actually started CrossFit as like a last resort because the other options of surgery or narcotics, it just didn't sound like a viable solution for me without accepting some of the long-term damage that would come with that. And so just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try CrossFit and see what can be done. And it slowly helped to build up a lot of strength and helped manage my anxiety and my hormones. Little did I know, as I was improving my health over the years, that my body was going to become fit enough to become pregnant. It made it possible for me to have her, because here she is.
Judy's sister? Racist.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you?
Prince Harry's the only one with balls. Oh, please. Does he have balls?
Isn't he the one that's in the military?
Was or is?
Is? I thought he's still in. What do I know?
All right, Wodapaloozas this week. Did you see that picture of mass deportation someone sent us?
Yeah.
Oh, he signed it. Trump's executive order.
Yeah. You want me to pull that up?
Sure. That's funny. Oh, the Barron Trump one is hilarious too. Holy shit, these are funny.
Just so you guys know, Trump signed an executive order. It is okay to call people retarded again. There it is. Heard it here first.
Oh, this Barron Trump one is amazing. Holy shit, dude. This is so funny. God, AI is out of control.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's so big. He is unnecessarily tall. It's ridiculous.
Hey, every day is take your kid to work day for Trump.
For Trump, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, pull that kid out of college. Just let him be your sidekick, dude. He should just be training, learning how to fight, and then just be by his dad's side at all time.
What school does he go to?
Columbia or something, or NYU?
NYU Sternbit School of Business. Yeah, that kid's gonna fuck some shit up when he gets done.
Did you see the Trump yesterday after he did the inauguration speech? He just did a free-for-all talk. And then after that, he went into the after inauguration, he went and spoke to a couple hundred people, and he told them all the stuff that JD Vance and Melania made him cut out of the inauguration. Okay. It was like stuff talking about Jan 6 and shit that he's like, yeah, Vance and Melania said it wasn't appropriate, so I cut it out. He said it should have been, they wanted it to be a unifying message. And then he told you all the shit. And then he went into the Oval Office. And there was this fucking beta dude with did you see that? With all the and this beta dude would hand Trump these black folders, and then he would sign them. This weirdo would tell Trump what each one said in there, and it was crazy, dude. It was a free for all with the press. The access we have to the president now is nuts.
Yeah, right.
We've seen Trump more than we saw already in his first day in office, than we saw Trump and Biden in all 4 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. They're going to be around him all the time, which is actually, I mean, he's so good at it.
Patrick, I have a question for you. In all seriousness, do you, Stephen A. Smith said that he wishes he wouldn't have voted for Kamala. Now that Trump's in office, he regrets, and if he could go back, he would have voted for Trump. Do you feel the same way? I'm guessing there's tons of people now who are like, fuck, why did I even vote for Kamala? Like, as each day goes on, are you like, yeah, I probably should have voted for him? I mean, shit, I voted for Hillary in 2016. I think I voted for, definitely didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Hillary. Is that who ran against him? It was Hillary?
Yeah.
Oh, you never voted? Oh.
Sick.
I thought you said you voted for Kamala. I must believe the hype. Oh, you said that to fuck with Taylor. Oh, well done. David, did you see him talking about TikTok and he don't give a shit about your kids? No, David, I must have missed that. I heard him say, they asked, why did you change your name in mind about TikTok? And you hear what he said?
What?
Because I used it.
Okay. Well, that solves that.
It does sound like he wants to take ownership of TikTok, though. It sounds like he's basically going to give the Chinese ultimatum. You have to give half of the ownership of TikTok to us. And
who do you think buys that? Is that another purchase by Elon? Or do you have like, I don't even know who else would be able to buy that. Like Meta wouldn't be able to do that.
I think he's going to just make them hand it over. Basically, he's basically going to say, hey, you have to give us the U.S. government 50% ownership of TikTok, or we're turning it off.
The government can own that?
I guess.
Like a private entity like that?
Yeah, someone asked that, and he said, yeah, it's called I forget, he said what it was, but it was some business term, like something acquisition, partnership acquisition or something. He goes, maybe you haven't heard of it. That's because you haven't had a president like me.
Interesting.
I'm enjoying every second of it. The Noble guy, is the Noble guy doing a podcast tour? What's he doing?
Who's the Noble guy?
This Todd dude, the dude who worked for Noble, who enforces people to take vaccines in order to work for their company.
If you wear Apple headphones, you're retarded.
What'd you say?
Said if you wear those Apple headphones, you're retarded.
On Earth.
If you're a white guy and you wear them, you're retarded.
Okay, yeah.
Because we're trying to inspire people to reach their full potential. And we believe that reaching your full potential starts with being the healthiest version of yourself. And for us, that starts with movement. There's so much more to it, but movement's one of those pillars, and our products are made for that. And we want to just meet people where they are. And our mission is to inspire wellness. And our tagline is start somewhere, which is you can start anywhere, right? And that's from somebody like with their first moment of wanting to improve themselves, like we're here for you. And somebody who's, decades into a pro competitive career and has achieved so much. And while on Earth, really can be a bridge to all of those different moments and those different people.
So inspiring, and truly that mission and that why is also so adjacent to where you are in your journey professionally right now too, and personally, right? Like it's in the application of the fitness space or the wellness space rather.
What did they even say?
The Make podcast.
The M-Take pod. What the fuck?
All these people have such nice sets and such beautiful lighting.
Yeah, to say nothing for 90 minutes.
Oh, what is this? Vacationing with kids?
Vacation is not vacation when you're with your kids. If you are away right now and you're with your children, just know that there's going to be some joyful moments that you have. And also know that with those joyful moments, you're going to have really crappy moments too. They can both be true. They can both exist. And when you reflect back and you think, oh, but my parents always had fun taking us on vacation, or that's what it looked like. Why don't I have to, why am I not enjoying every single moment? I guarantee you that your parents didn't enjoy every single moment of taking you on vacation. So break that narrative in your own mind if that is what you are thinking.
You don't enjoy every single moment when your fucking boyfriend's skull fucking you and you're gagging on his cock a little bit too. That just because you don't enjoy every single moment with your kids doesn't mean it's a deal breaker. Boys, get the fuck in here right now. Come,
we're gonna have some fun.
Show you fucking fun. Stand in order. 1, 2, 3. Where's the other one? There's my Joey. Is every single moment of our vacation fun?
No.
Oh, 1 no, 1 yes. What about you? Yes. 2 to 1.
Too cold.
What did you say? The water's too cold. Hey, are we always on vacation?
No.
Our entire life is our entire life vacation?
Yes.
What do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say? Yeah. All right. Beat it. Go. B. Don't ever interrupt me again while we're doing the podcast. I'll kick someone's ass. What the fuck is going on here? Your parents didn't enjoy every single minute. Yeah, when your fucking boyfriend accidentally sticks it in your dumper, you don't enjoy that part either. Or I don't know, unless you're some girls do. This is just retarded land. What are you doing, Todd? Todd, for $5,000 a month, I will consult with you. I'll give you 1 phone call a week and I'll fucking help you. First of all, stop doing jackass fucking podcasts where you sound like a ding dong. I don't want to fucking ass pound you, dude. But if you walk around with a fucking big dollop of KY on your anus while you're grabbing your ankles, it's so hard not to stick my dong in your hole. Douche.
Blame them. Those chicks are hot.
We're here for you. Did he really say that? What the fuck is going on in this world?
Dude,
no one believes that. No shoe company is there for anybody. What were you gonna say?
You sell shirts and shoes. You're not here for anybody.
Dude, my shoes are so
sell your
thick.
shit.
Yeah. I have wide feet, and these shoes are fucking incredible for wide feet, but you're never going to believe this. We sell shoes in 3 different widths, and I want you to know that Matt Fraser won the fucking CrossFit Games 5 times, and he loves these shoes, and it's no shit. Look at, here's a video of him wearing them all day. We're going to take off. Here's him snatching some way. Like, just give it, like, say, show us some shit.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
That is
What?
just
Who
so
the fuck-
adjacent to where you are in your career right now.
Oh my God.
Like, that's so fuck God. My dick's so adjacent to your fucking mouth, dude.
The only cool thing about Whole Earth shoes is that Matt O'Keefe donated $2,000 to the fire fund. That's like the only thing. Everything else about you is just pure bullshit. And you're a fucking scumbag for working at a company that forced people to get their fucking vaccine in order to stay employed there. And all your rhetoric is just douchebaggery. Patrick Lang, your asshole is so wide from Trump's cock right now that you're going to need new underwear. Wait a second. My asshole is so wide from Trump's cock. Okay. Understood. I'm with you. No denying that you're going to need new underwear.
Because this shit's just coming out of your asshole. Unrestricted.
I don't want to have to think that hard about a put down. It needs to just be like,
that's
pa,
pretty
pa,
bad.
pa.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yes, Heidi, that's a promise.
Your asshole is so wide from Trump's cock right now that you're never.
Yeah. See,
that
then
your butt's
you
gonna
gotta-
leak for the rest of your life. Like, why do I have to? Shit's going.
Yeah, see.
Christ, dude.
You got to have 2 comments to make your shit make sense. You're retarded. Pretty basic, bud.
Oh, jeez.
I
give you a fucking platform to express your creative despair. Your ass is leaky. Yeah, I know.
Say
you
that
get
then.
it. I know you get it, David.
Say your ass is leaking. See, that's straight and to the point. I didn't need to think about it.
Trump. Oh, what? Yes. Anytime you see the word insert, run. Oh, I can't help you with that right now. I don't know. I text your mom. Give me 5 minutes. Find something else to do. Count your fingers. Do you ever do that thing like when you're bored or you're sitting on the toilet and you're taking a shit and you have your hands fight each other? Do you ever do that? I used to do that when I was your age. When you're in bed, you have your hands fight each other. Kind of cool, right? I used to have I would have like a nail clipper and a bobby pin and I would make them fight. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
What the fuck?
Fathering. Booyah, Kasha.
Do you ever have your hands fight each other? I used to have my hands fight each other.
Now my butthole just takes Trump's cock. I've grown up. I've matured. All right. I want to talk about Wodapalooza. I don't know anything about it other than Thursday and Friday are individual. Wednesday, I'm going to do CrossFit Games update show. I think Spin's going like at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to wait till he's done. I'm going to go on right after him. I'm going to try to grab oh, here we go. This something didn't sound right. Hello? Hello?
Hey.
What's up?
What's up?
Hanging out. About to heard talking about Wodapalooza.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Hold on. My phone's all fucked up.
Voice is so deep.
I know. Who is that? Is it Jeremy?
I think it's Gabe.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Is he having a booth at Wodapalooza? Hey.
Oh, we are. Paper Street is.
Oh, hey, there you are. Oh, What's up, Gabe?
Really?
You sounded like
What's
Jeremy.
up, man? How
You
you
sounded
doing?
like a black guy at first. Something. Your voice was so deep.
From the waist down.
All right, understood. You guys are gonna have a booth at Wodapalooza?
Yeah, man. Dylan actually just FaceTimed me a little bit ago to show me the venue.
Last year,
It's
the line was
huge.
so crazy long there. Oh, the venue's huge?
Enormous.
Oh, that's cool.
Crazy.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool. And last year you guys had a crazy line, over 100 people. Is it gonna be like that this year?
It's probably going to be a little crazier because Friday, if you pull up the weather, it's supposed to only get up to 60 degrees.
So you think people will drink hot coffee even more?
Yeah, man. It's not going to be the warmest of weekends, which bodes well for us. I mean, we still do hot and cold drinks. We got the whole espresso and everything out there, but it is going to be a colder competition weekend. I don't think it's going to be as humid. So it'll be interesting how like athletes recover and how they do with that.
Okay. If you're an athlete, I want you right now to pull out your complaint check card and cross off that it's going to be too hot because you won't be able to use that this weekend. So when you rehearse what your issues are and your complaints are for this weekend, remember it being too hot will not be one of them. I apologize. On behalf of Wodapalooza and Dylan Walensky, I apologize. You will not be able to complain about the heat. I just wanted to do a PSA on that.
Hey man, I'll take it. I'm hoping the venue is pretty cool. I know that you guys won't be there. But I coordinated with Travis to get a bunch of your shirts out there, so we'll have some of your shirts out there.
Oh, that's awesome. And we're gonna cover it like crazy. I think I was talking with John Young yesterday. I think the event starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to watch all the events, and then we're going to go live after the events. And I'm excited about it. It's a wild cast of characters there. It sounds like it's going to be a good event. It's pretty cool. I was also sent Dylan congratulations. I do think it's really cool that Sarah, Annie, and Katrin are all doing a team together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the first time that they do something together, which is interesting that they've been around the sport such a long time that they haven't like done the whole Icelandic thing together for the first until now.
And isn't Katrin pregnant?
I have no clue. I'm not, in it like that. I don't think. I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay, let's go over to Instagram. Katrin, I think she is pregnant. I think she announced that. Or unless I'm confusing it with she announced she just got married.
Yeah, they just got engaged.
Retirement? Oh, maybe she's not pregnant?
No, I think she just got engaged. You just think
Oh.
that she's pregnant because she got a boob job.
Oh.
I mean, if anything, it's impressive that Annie's competing, right?
Yeah. Isn't Annie doing the World Fitness Project though also?
She is, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy impressive.
Stop asking
I'd
questions
love
I don't know the answers to.
No, I mean, I can say yes and then be wrong.
Yeah, totally. Fine. Who
Like-
cares? Right. You're right.
Like,
Of course
Isn't
she
it-
is.
I remember-
And she's going to win the games this year.
heck yeah. The Open, the Games, and the Last Chance qualifiers. She's gonna do them all.
And she's going to win her division in the Community Cup. Oh shit! Look at this picture. Holy shit! Can you see your screen, Gabe?
Yeah. I'm in my office, so I'll
Who
pull
does
it up.
Katrin look like right there?
Hold on. There's a delay.
Caleb?
Oh, I don't know.
Dude.
Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
If I told you that was Brooke Ence, you would believe me.
No.
I was gonna say his ex-wife, but
Oh, interesting.
his ex-wife before a lot of the procedures.
Oh shit!
Possibly had.
Feel
Now
bad.
she looks like Kat from the side. She looks like Katrin, but that really looks like Brooke Ence. Wow. Oh, Mason says negative. Negative Ghost Rider. Sebi, do you think Trump will pardon Castro for killing Lazar? God damn it! I wouldn't have read that.
Standy, you're lying. It's not snowing outside.
Hey, I'm excited. Thanks for doing the shirts. And
yeah, man.
And I'm going to send you links. Hopefully, you can be one of our East Coast Wodapalooza correspondents while you're there. We can send you a link and like you can go live from your phone and show us like the venue and shit like that.
Yeah, I told Spin if he wants someone that's gonna call people pussy, say the N-word every once in a while, and probably say the R word, he could definitely send me a link.
Your game. All right. You're free. You're a free man.
All right, I'll talk to you. Oh, by the way, this weekend's fight card stacked for it being a fight night. Super stacked.
It's Israel Adesanya's fighting.
Yeah, we got MVP fighting fucking One-Eye Monster.
Oh yeah. That yes, the co-main event's insane.
Bro, the heavyweights, everyone on this fight card is super stacked. Like, and it's free. Jeez, how are you like crazy? This is easily a pay-per-view.
Hey, did you hear the story about how I saw Armin on Sunday?
I meant to text you. Word on the street is he wasn't going to make weight. In an interview he did, he said Tuesday he stopped cutting, as per like the UFC doctor. But the word on the street was that he wasn't going to make weight, and he used that as an excuse. Obviously, we don't know, but he's blaming it on the doctors.
So what I heard, so when I saw him, he was obviously pissed off, and very serious, and he was just walking in front of Dory's Delis here in Newport. And then yesterday I checked his Instagram, and he was on the beach right in front of my house, right in front of Sarah's house. But that is what I didn't know the Tuesday date, but what I had heard was he had 2 doctors in his camp, and something happened, and he couldn't make weight. Why wouldn't they just tell the truth? Why wouldn't they just say he didn't make weight? Why did they call it a back injury?
Right, because I think it's. I mean, isn't that one of the like the biggest things of the professional fighter? It's like, oh hey man, like one, he's never gonna weigh in overweight because they stripped 20% of his purse, and then he's no longer fighting for
the belt. But I've seen that. Right? But I've seen that happen before. He should have just done it.
But there's an interview where he says, "Yeah, I'll gladly give up a title fight to go fight Conor and make a bag." So he's not that type of person that's going to be like, "All right, like I'm gonna completely sacrifice everything just to make sure I beat Islam."
He would kill Conor.
Like if you're telling, I don't. Yeah, Conor isn't part of. Like he's already, in my opinion, he's washed up. Obviously, kicked 99% of the people's ass. But compared to where he fights at 155, which he will never make 155 ever again.
Who
fights at 170.
Who Armin or Conor?
Conor can't fight at 155.
Yeah,
like there's no way in hell. 170, but who's he going to go after at 170? It's all going to be like 155ers that want to fight at 170.
Yeah, he can't fight Kamaru Usman. Usman will kill Conor McGregor.
Yeah, just complete, like very, very different weight classes, and obviously how all the matchups are. But with the Armin thing, I just think it's one of those, hey man, I'm not going to make weight. I'm going to say I'm injured. And then Dana's like, hey, look, man, we're giving you this opportunity. You fucked it up.
Yeah,
now you got to work back because
Dana's
they had to scramble.
pissed.
Like imagine, yeah, they had to scramble. And let's be honest, thank God that the co-main event was what it was.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, like
the
incredible. Fact that like Merab just put a clinic on wrestling, like against the Dagestani contingency, like that was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy to see him just turn around and walk out of all the takedowns, be able to take Umar down like it wasn't even a problem. He tried it and just it was crazy.
I think it does taint Islam's career, though. Not taints too strong, but it is a shame for Islam that as he gets closer, that was the record for most defense titles, and it was against a guy who wasn't really a contender. So that kind of sucks for Islam, but also sucks because now he's one fight away from having like the most wins or some other record, and the fact that he had to fight a dude who was number 10 to kind of get there. It's going to be talked about a little bit. I mean, that was a really easy fight for Islam.
Yeah, but I mean,
And I
showed
like
up. He made
Moicano.
it, right?
And I like Moicano.
Yeah, but he was never gonna. He's 10 for a reason. Like the fights that he won, it's not like he beat anyone that was like super crazy.
Who, Islam?
Leading up to that,
Yeah.
Moicano.
Oh, right.
That's why the Beneil fight would have been so cool, because now it's like, all right, these two guys one is waning, right? Beneil is kind of like falling off, and Moicano's like really trying to establish himself. That's why that fight would have been fucking phenomenal. Obviously, it fell through. But no, I mean, Islam was there. He did his thing. He beat Charles. He beat Dustin. He beat Volkanovski like
twice.
Those are like, come on, like those are fights. Maybe he got one easy fight since 2020. Like that's, yeah. He beat Thiago. He beat Dan Hooker. He beat fucking Charles Oliveira. He beat these are all big names.
Who beat him? Who's his loss to? Oh, Adriano Martins. I don't even know who that is. Oh, he got KO'd. Wow.
I think it was one of like his very first UFC fights.
He's beat
I think
Armin
second or
before.
third.
Yeah, you're right. Bobby Green, Charles Oliveira, Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier.
Like those are all top contenders. It's not like he just went and okay, cool, I got a freebie. He got a freebie when he already beat and dusted everyone under him. Arman would have been cool.
He's never fought
and
Gaethje. He's never fought Gaethje.
I guess whoever wins out of what's Dan Hooker's ranking? He's like 6th or something, and Gaethje's like 4th now. I'm not sure. I don't know what the rankings are. Why would you want to see that though? Like you saw what he did to basically, in my opinion, like Gaethje and Dustin kind of like.
Hey, here's the deal.
Are on the same level.
I don't think Islam, the best guy. I'm starting to look at Islam's record. So I don't think Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, or Alexander Volkanovski or Dustin Poirier. Dustin is in towards the end of his career. Alexander had to come up a weight class. I think the only real test Islam's had is Charles Oliveira. He hasn't even fought Michael Chandler. I don't know. I'm starting now that I'm looking at his record.
Chandler?
Oh, just because those are the best guys in the division. Islam hasn't fought any. The only good guy that Islam's fought, in my opinion, like of the best. I mean, wouldn't you say that Chandler's better than Bobby Green? You think?
Yeah,
Don't you think Chandler's better than Alexander Volkanovski? Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Did Dustin beat up Chandler? He did, huh?
I'm not quite certain. I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think yeah.
Yeah, he beat up Chandler. He beat up Chandler, but he lost to Gaethje.
Yeah, in the BMF title thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things where you have to put credence on the fact that Volkanovski was a killer and that fight went to decision. Like that was the closest that Islam got to like seeing defeat, which is really, really important. And then from there, it's just been complete dominance, even against Volk again.
Hey, they got to bring the dude up from 145 to fight Islam.
Topuria?
Yep. I know it's crazy.
Topuria
I know it's
Volk
crazy
in
talk
Miami.
since Islam's so big, but what'd you say?
I think it's Topuria versus Volk in Miami in 313, I think. UFC.
That's already
I think so.
scheduled? Let me see.
I think it's just a rumor. I don't know if you heard that from me.
They got Dan Hooker versus
Let's find
Justin
out.
Gaethje. Gaethje's going to kill Hooker. And Alex
No, I
Pereira
don't think they have
versus
anything.
Magmed Onkolov. Wow, Pereira's fighting again already. Jesus Christ.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I can't believe
I'll
Cejudo's
take
fighting.
that any day.
I can't believe Cejudo's fighting Song Yadong.
Yeah, he gets the bag for that, man.
I
Like
hope so.
Cejudo just wants. He fumbled his whole career. He fumbled his career horribly. But I mean, I like it. I like that fight night. That's an awesome like way for Cejudo to possibly get a win against a really, really tough striking, and like he's a decent grappler too. And you got DC coming back too.
What?
That's an amazing fight.
What?
Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz.
Oh.
Hey,
Well,
UFC,
he's going to be in Ultimate Fighter or the Contender Series. DC's like the next coach for Contender Series.
the tough. Yeah, tough. No,
312.
it's
312 is a horrible card, dude.
312.
The
What do you, dude?
The main event looks
What are you
good, but
talking about?
I don't know. I mean, Wei Zhang, Tatiana Suarez, Justin. I don't even know who some of these people are. I mean, I know who those girls are. I know who Jimmy Crude is. They better get some people on there. They better get another big fight on there.
Pretty kind on the eyes. The Tatiana Suarez fight, mainly because of her.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't get her ass demolished.
I mean, I like the main event. I like Duplessis. I like Strickland. I'm not sure.
Duplessis and Strickland's going to be
like,
amazing. I hope Strickland kills.
Big Duplessis fan too.
You're a Duplessis fan?
Big Duplessis fan.
Oh, I'm a big strong Strickland fan.
Dude, if Strickland is in the right mental space, he has the best chance to beat Dricus, and I think that would be perfect for them to go again. I think that'll be the third time that they fight if he beats him. I think Strickland has the ability to go and kill him, but if not, I really do think it's like a 3-round fight. I don't think Strickland is
big enough to fight Duplessis.
That complete of a fighter.
Yeah, but it's pressure. But it's the pressure, man.
Yeah, but look at the pressure that Izzy gave to Dricus. Dricus ate most of those shots.
Do you think Strickland won the first fight against Duplessis?
It's one of those, man. No, he was champion, so he should have gotten a little bit more credence. He should have. Dricus, damn. Let me put it this way. I don't think either of them won the fight, but I don't think Sean, as champion, lost the fight.
Fair. All right.
It's stupid. It's a stupid thing to say.
No, it's not. I get it.
It was like, whatever.
Even David Weed thinks Strickland won.
Nah. David Weed is a pussy. He can suck a cock. Fuck
that. Well, that's
guy.
true.
Go
too.
back to where the fuck you came from.
That's true.
Go back to fucking. Where is he from? What country is he from? No. Fuck that. Fuck that. You're welcome. Fucking being in an American chat here. Fuck
he was born and raised in Beverly Hills. Uncle Buck diddled him, and then he got busted for hacking into some computers, and he escaped to Portugal.
Pat's just angry. Pat's angry that he can't be part of this conversation. I know he likes homosexual talk. I'm sorry, Pat. I'll bring up fucking Crocs next time, so that way you can fucking interject shit in there.
Yeah. Croc wearing fuck. Pat Lang wears Crocs. I need a shirt. Pat Lang wears Crocs.
All right, guys. I will see you. I'm in Miami this whole weekend. If you guys want shirts, if you guys want coffee, please show up. We're doing a bunch of giveaways with Travis, since Travis won't be able to be there. We're giving away 3 of his backpacks.
Oh, cool. Okay.
On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll throw a bunch of swag there. So you guys can all hang and buy coffee there. I appreciate you guys, and talk to you guys.
Later, Gabe. Bye. Gabe from Gabe Coffee. Thank you. By the way, someone last night in the Dave Castro Weekend Review was saying they wanted sweatshirts. And I think, maybe there's not. I thought there was a 7 on Podcast sweatshirt. Oh, there's a girl. Oh, there's a boys one.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Who needs ones with zippers on them? Oh, that's the same one that he sells for Crash.
Yeah.
I love Crocs. I know. I know. All right, I got to go work out. I got to pretend like my morale wasn't crushed by looking at Woolie's Instagram. Can you hear the fighting? The boys fighting?
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're getting crazy in there.
Zippers are not gay. Oh, 9 out of 10. Wow.
Wow, Standy.
Could have been 10 out of 10 if we wouldn't have talked about UFC. All right, love you guys. What is today? Today's Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Okay, Sousa has a show in an hour.
Sweet.
All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.